After a week on the road against the National League's best, the Mets are back in town for a week. A quarter of a season to go. The playoffs probably not on the horizon, but plenty to play for the Mets. Individual accomplishments will be very important coming down the stretch, and the Mets have to figure out their future. Who's a part of the plan, and who gets kicked to the curb? At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Colorado Rockies. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by New York's 529 College Savings Program. Have a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez join me in just a moment as the Mets open a 7-game homestand with the first of 4 against the Colorado Rockies. The season has gotten away from the Mets as far as the postseason is concerned. 10 games back in the wild card after a terrific start to their year. Their post-All-Star game portion of the schedule has not gone well. They come off a 2-4 road trip to Cincinnati and Washington, and now the season takes a turn into a kind of a different state. Keith, it becomes more about the individual and more about what can be accomplished in terms of next year as opposed to this year.
Well, you know what, Gary? It goes both ways, even for the veteran player as well as the young player. I remember a long time ago when bad Cardinal teams were just kind of finishing it out. It was an opportunity for me to play every day and show what I got. Well, we Mets have plenty of those guys out there. Few of them are down in Buffalo, probably going to get called back up and get another opportunity to show what they got. As far as the veterans, David Wright's having a fine season. He wants to get the best, be the best that he can be, and have the best season that he can have. So it's a matter of professional pride. You come out here and be professional. You work hard. You play hard every day.
Mets will see more of their youngsters coming up in September. But right now, one of the veterans who has a lot to play for is Dickey, who pitches tonight. Dickey has a chance to accomplish some incredible milestones that haven't been accomplished by a Met in some time.
Well, he wants to join some other National League pitchers at 16 wins. And when you think about it, Gary, it's not only Dickey. You're thinking about, is Matt Harvey going to show that he's going to be here for good? You're looking at Johan Santana. Is he going to dominate again? I think those are the things you're looking at. But with Dickey, what they've done with a 6-man rotation is that they have put him in every 5th day. Jeremy Hefner is going to be the wild card, so he is going to probably be given 2 more opportunities, 2 more starts down the stretch to try to have that Cy Young year. When you're having a year like the Mets are having, for fans, they want to see their best pitcher all season long, maybe reward them with a Cy Young after having a batting champion last season.
So Dickey will go up against the Colorado Rockies tonight. On the other side for Colorado, Matt Harvey's North Carolina teammate, Alex White.
Well, the thing about the Colorado Rockies is that they've had so many injuries that a lot of young pitchers have been given a chance. Their only problem, though, if you look down the sheet of all their starters, they're only going 3, 4, sometimes 5 innings. It's a chance for White, sinker ball, slider pitcher, to show he belongs in the rotation for next year.
So the Mets begin a week at home with the first of 4 against the Colorado Rockies. Mets and Rockies, all the action coming your way on SNY. Why is brought to you by New York's 529 College Savings Program, by Acura Advance, by Thompson's Water Seal, the most powerful protection against water damage guaranteed, by Bud Light, by Bank of America, and by Kia Motors. The next T-Shirt Tuesday game is tomorrow night when the Mets host the Rockies at 7:10. You can score both a ticket to the left field landing and a limited edition R.A. Dickey T-shirt for just $19. Act now. A limited number of tickets are available. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX. Here's your Mets upcoming schedule. You can listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Mets are home all week. Night games with the Rockies the next two nights. Day game Thursday. The Astros come in over the weekend. Then Mets begin a long road trip to Philadelphia, Miami, and St. Louis. That will take them into the month of September. Met fans ready to root for their team tonight. A couple of peanuts never hurt. Mets and Rockies. First pitch coming up.
So here's the first pitch from hand, and Reyes rips it. Back it goes. And it's good! A home run for Jose Reyes, and the Mets tie the game.
Well, it is that time of year again. Last year, our good friend Jacob Resnick, winner of the SNY Kidcaster contest, came to the booth, got his one batter. And, of course, Jose Reyes hit a home run, and Jacob's now become gainfully employed as a result.
That's right.
2 years ago, our friend Kara Ann called David Wright's home run. So tonight when J.J. Post, the Kidcaster, comes into the booth, who knows what to expect?
Pressure's on.
There's your Hyundai Colorado Rockies starting lineup, and if you don't recognize any of the names, you're not alone. Dexter Fowler's having a terrific year, but most of the Rockies are hurt. Carlos Gonzalez is away on bereavement leave, and so R.A. Dickey facing a makeshift lineup tonight.
Well, Dickey had a tough start. Struck out 9 in his last start, but gave up 5 earned runs and 6 innings of pitching.
Charlie Blackmon leads things off. Blackmon's had 5 big league at bats this year, and for the first time sees a knuckleball, and it's in for a strike. Blackmon, 26 years old, second round pick out of Georgia Tech in '08. Came up with the Rockies last year, but broke his foot. So he's been set back, and Dickey gets ahead of him 0-2. The Rockies tonight are posting a lineup that includes one opening day starter. That is Dexter Fowler, their center fielder. Everybody else is on the shelf. Jim Tracy's team has seen 6 starting pitchers go down, necessitating a switch to a 4-man rotation. Punched off the fist out to Tejada at shortstop. Blackman can run, and he's out by a stride, 1 away.
That they have 9 rookies on this roster now too, with all those guys on the disabled list. And we'll take a look at the defense here, and you can see the Lexus defense. Well, you know what, Josh has had a tough time. He's got that guy out there, the knuckleball. He had 3 the other day. It's tough catching a good knuckleball. So that 15 is a little bit over what he'd normally have in the course of a season.
Did you not pay the bill?
My mic was off.
That they didn't turn your microphone on?
Maybe they're trying to silence me.
Oh, but it's been off for so long. They just didn't know how to turn it on.
You know, I've been an agitator all my life. They're trying to shut me up.
It's nice that you're back. Jordan Pacheco takes ball 1. Pacheco playing third base and having a good year, hitting at .312. There's Dexter Fowler on deck. The Rockies, when they're healthy, are a good offensive team. They're second in the National League in runs scored, although they don't score nearly as many on the road as they do at Coors Field. And Pacheco lifts one out to right, and Mike Baxter drifts over and puts it away for the second out. So 2 up and 2 set aside by Dickey in the opening inning. In fact, it's almost as though the humidor never existed, because this year the Rockies are averaging more than 2 runs per game more at home than they are on the road. 5.7 runs per game at home, 3.6 on the road.
The problem is the visiting teams are averaging the same.
Well, their pitching has been dreadful. They are 3/4 of a run per game worse in their ERA than any other team in the league. Jason Giambi, yet another one, is out of the lineup as Dexter Fowler takes ball 1. Fowler having a career year. He's 9th in the National League in batting at .302, 7th in the league in on base percentage, having a fine season. Switch hitter, and he pulls one foul, 1-1.
It reminded me a little when they first came up of Cameron Maybin. Kind of a long swing for a guy who runs real fast just from the other side of the plate, but he has started to turn it on.
And now hitting from both sides of the plate, which had been a concern earlier in his career. One of those Atlanta area natives who got away out of Milton, Georgia. And there's the good hard knuckleball by Dickey to get even 2-2.
Well, this is a team in Colorado, and with the knuckleball right there. Didn't really work that much, but he can throw it so hard.
And he sails that one. Appeared to stumble as he came out of his motion there.
No, it's oh, slip. Nice recovery.
Mike Gonzalez in the Washington Nationals, when he does that, he just doesn't throw the ball. Balk.
So balk yesterday. 3-2 to Fowler. And he swings and misses at the knuckleball. And that's the first strikeout for Dickey. So R.A., who's had more than a strikeout per inning in each of his last 5 starts, has his first of this game. No score as the Mets come to bat. Dexter Fowler foul tipped this ball, but watch what happens.
Misses Toley's glove and hits him right in the shin guard.
So normally you listen for sound, and here's what they heard. As opposed to being the sound of a foul tip, it was the sound of the ball against the shin guard.
Josh came back to the bench, we'd say, put a glove on that shin guard, Josh.
Boy, I tell you what, we're early on that freeze cam tonight.
Coors Light freeze cam showing Field and Culbreth made the right call. Terry Collins hoping he made the right call with his Geico Mets starting lineup. Mike Baxter's been hot with the bat, so has Scott Hairston. Andres Torres could not be colder right now. The Mets coming off a road trip where they scored 8 runs in one game in Cincinnati, but otherwise really struggled to score. And facing the young right-hander Alex White.
5-10 in his career so far, but he was one of the big parts of that trade that sent Ubaldo Jimenez to Cleveland. Alex was part of that trade back.
The other pitcher that got in that deal was Drew Pomeranz, and as poorly as Ubaldo has pitched since going to Cleveland, you'd have to say the Rockies have a really good chance of getting the better of that deal. Tejada has cooled down just a bit the last couple of days, 0 for his last 7 after a 3-week span where he was getting a hit at least one every day.
You want to think of a pitcher that Alex White is like. You would think of an Aaron Cook who pitched in Colorado, Jake Westbrook who pitched in Cleveland and now in St. Louis.
Well, he gets a lot of ground balls, which is a necessity pitching at Coors Field. And he fires in a strike 1 and 2.
Well, he's a sinker ball pitcher, and he's left-handers hitting .311 against him.
I don't know about you guys, but I find it extraordinarily disconcerting when a pitcher has a single digit on his back. Just doesn't look right. To the right side, and Colvin, the first baseman, handles it to retire Tejada 1 away.
And we'll take a look at the Colorado Rocky defense, and watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Bustle up my sleeve. Must have been the oh, there it is. My monitor is not operating properly. The Coors Light Rocky defense. They have 91. Yes, Al. I'm not getting the graphic, Al. On my monitor.
Did nobody tell our crew that you were showing up tonight? First your microphone didn't work, then your monitor didn't work.
So I'm looking at my monitor, folks, and I'm not getting the graphic of the defense. And then Ronnie tapped me on the shoulder and made me realize that it's over on his monitor. But getting back to the defense real quick, I was so rudely interrupted. 91 errors this Rocky team. So a team that doesn't pitch well, doesn't defend well. A couple guys are obviously hurt. Tulowitzki and Gonzalez, the Gold Glovers, hurts their defense.
1-1 to Baxter, who's got a 7-game hitting streak going, and White misses away with the fastball. 2-1. David Wright waiting on deck. Alex White making his 15th start of the year. And it's bounced to the right side, and DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman, throws out Baxter 2 away.
Sinker baller's Keith. You have to get the ball up, and you got to hit the ball the other way, don't you?
You got to make him get the sinker ball up, that's for sure. And
David Wright exchanging pleasantries with the Rockies catcher Willian Rosario. Seem to be old friends. Well, David's been stuck on 199 home runs for his career, now for 78 at bats. It's been better than 3 weeks since he hit his last one against Josh Colmenter of the Diamondbacks. And David takes upstairs for ball 1.
Tulo, he came with the team, Troy Tulowitzki.
He's been out since the end of May. It's been a long slog for him. Todd Helton's out for the year. Tulowitzki is out, although they hope to get him back sometime fairly shortly. Michael Kadire was back and then is hurt again with an oblique, and he's probably out for the year. Wright drives one to left field, headed toward the corner, and that ball bounces up against the wall. Wright heads to second as Brown gets it in too late, and David Wright has his 36th double of the year.
It's a changeup, Keith.
Stayed straight, no sink. David stays back nice. Too much of the plate. You want to get that changeup on the outside corner, but give David credit there. He stays back. Good balance. And his college days off to a nice start.
So 36 doubles for David Wright. Starting to close in on the Mets club record of 44 with a quarter of the season to go. So he's in scoring position with 2 out, and Ike Davis the batter.
Oh, Ike's kind of picked it up there. He's getting close to the 220 range now, and slow ride up. Got a lot of at bats. It's hard to lift that average.
22 home runs to lead the team, 67 RBIs, just 8 behind Wright for the club lead. And White misses off the plate for ball 1. Mets faced the Rockies at Coors Field back in May. Beat the Rockies 2 out of 3. The game they lost, they gave up 18 runs. Remember that 18-9 game when Scott Hairston hit for the cycle?
And not only did the Mets lose, he was taken out of the ball game, hit for the cycle.
Not supposed to lose when you hit for the cycle. Daniel Murphy waits on deck.
It's like striking out 11, like Edwin Jackson.
Yeah. Well, Davis messed up that performance for Jackson as Rosario goes down in the dirt to smother it, and might have won an Olympic gold for the catcher's mask toss.
Well, you know, they have been happy with his improvement. He's an offensive kind of catcher, learning how to block balls in the big leagues, and he's gotten better and better as Rosario.
And he's got 19 home runs, which gives him a lot of patience with his defensive skills. 2-1 to Davis with Wright at second, and White misses away with that sinker, and he falls behind Ike 3-1.
Well, Ike has been so much more potent on the road. He's had difficulties at home here at Citi Field.
Just 5 of his 22 home runs have come at home. Has a good count to work with here, and he takes it off the plate for ball 4. So White, after giving up the 2-out double, walks Davis, and now the Mets have 2 out and 2 on for Daniel Murphy. You know, as a young pitcher, you never want to be walking people, but the added problem for these young Rocky starters right now is they're working within the parameters of a 4-man rotation where their pitch limit is set kind of liberally, but around 75 pitches.
75 to 80 pitches, and that makes it pretty difficult. But the one thing that happens to young pitchers who pitch Colorado is get a little gun shy on the 3-1 counts, because you usually get it launched out of the ballpark.
So here's Murphy, who's cooled down considerably, just 2 for his last 27. Struck out as a pinch hitter yesterday and got ejected from the game after flipping his bat, and he takes a strike.
It's been kind of a spurty season for Murph. He really hasn't gotten really red hot in a while. He's had a couple really bad slumps. It's been real streaky this year.
Scott Hairston, who had that cycle against the Rockies, waiting on deck. And the changeup from White missing, 1-1.
That just gives away his changeup, huh, Keith?
Yes, and he's a young pitcher. He walks a lot of guys. He's got 33 walks in 69 innings. And when you're on a pitch count of 75, sometimes that isn't going to get you, into the 5th inning.
White began the year in the minor leagues. They brought him up in May. He made 10 starts, sent him back down. He's been back for 4 starts since and has been pitching better. And that fastball in for a strike, 1-2. But you know, he's got a 3.63 ERA over those 4 starts, but he's not going beyond 4 innings because of this pitch count.
It's hard to judge, right?
Right. Now the Rockies do get a 5th starter back tomorrow when Jhoulys Chacín comes off the disabled list, but they're still talking about having pitchers combine spots in the rotation, so they'll keep going with 4 starters, and they're talking about doing it next year as well. They've got 4 starting pitchers and they have 9 relief pitchers. So they're carrying 1 pitcher more than most teams are, and yet still going with a short rotation. It's a whole different mindset that they put together when they had some pitchers injured earlier in the year and they were having terrible results. So they're just trying something different. It hasn't really worked appreciably. The numbers are about the same since they went to the 4-man rotation as they were before. 2-2 to Murphy, and he slashes 1 foul. It's just funny that the Mets have gone to a 6-man rotation, and here are the Rockies working with 4. There are the numbers since going to the four-man rotation, a 6.12 ERA, but their starters had a 6.28 ERA from the starters before that move.
If your pitchers pitch well, you don't have to do anything.
Well, their ERA at 5.41 is in last in the National League, and that is no one. The closest one to them is the next team coming in at 4.71. That's the Astros. They don't strike out a lot of people. They've given up the most home runs. That's a lot that has to do with Denver, and the third most walks.
It's a bad combination.
Sure is.
2-2 to Murphy, and again he fouls it off. So here is Alex White working with this 75 to 80 pitch limit, and in the first inning he's already thrown 22 pitches. He's already made it unlikely that he'll be able to go 5. Well, that's pretty stark right there. A run and a half worse than any other team in the league for their starters. And full count now to Murphy with 2 out and 2 on.
Well, the classic joke and clubhouse banner would be the everyday players going out there with body armor on.
Of course, those 91 errors haven't helped either.
No, it's true.
So now Wright and Davis will be in motion with 3 and 2 and 2 down. Three-2 to Murphy, and he lines one into left field, a base hit. That'll bring David Wright home with the game's first run. Daniel Murphy with a 2-out RBI hit, and it's 1-0 New York.
Well, sinker ball pitcher, most reliable pitch to get over the plate, and no sink. And Murph goes that way well. That's into his strength. And David on his movement with the pitch is going to score easily.
237 2-out runs for the Mets. That puts them back into the big league lead. They had been tied with Atlanta coming into the day. So the Mets strike first, and now Hairston, who has been red hot with the bat, had a great series in Washington just concluded. 5 hits and 8 at bats in that series. 2 out and 2 on, and Hairston takes a breaking ball low and away for ball 1. Davis at second, Murphy at first with 2 down. And the pitching coach, Bo McLaughlin, is going to head out to the mound to talk to Alex White. We mentioned Hairston earlier this year, April 27th, the date of his cycle at Coors Field. Started off innocently enough with the single, then the home run. It hits one that Fowler couldn't corral, and he winds up with a triple and finished it off with a double in the gap.
Quite a day.
Joining Keith and some other elite company as Mets who have hit for the cycle.
It's always interesting when a player from the San Diego Padres hits for a cycle with another team, right?
Just like an ex-Met pitching a no-hitter, I'm told, this year. Padres have never had a cycle or a no-hitter. And Hairston takes inside, and White, struggling with his control, falls behind 2-0.
Well, Preston Gomez, I forget what year was it. Clay Kirby had a no-hitter, but was losing the game, and he pulled him.
Pitch hit for him in the 8th inning, losing 1-0. And he was vilified. Alex White, just 23 years old. First round pick by Cleveland in 09 out of the University of North Carolina, where he was teammates with Matt Harvey for a couple of years. White was 2 years ahead of Harvey in school, but they overlapped. Here's Matt, who will pitch on Wednesday night. As Hairston fouls it off, 2-2.
And you hope White figures it out, but the stuff that he has, sinker, slider, he's got to pitch exactly opposite as he's pitching now. He's got to pound the strike zone and make each batter within 3 pitches hit the ball on the ground and try to make some plays.
They've made him into a sinker ball pitcher. He's got a 4-seamer that he can throw 94 miles an hour, but they've discouraged him from throwing that, probably because of the ballpark he's pitching the majority of his games in. Now the 2-2 to Hairston, and he lines one to center field, but Fowler's right there. And that retires the side. But the Mets get a run on a 2-out hit by Daniel Murphy and lead 1-0 after 1. On SNY is brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. Visit the concession stands behind sections 137 and 431 at Citi Field to try the flamethrower tenders and the Chipotle chicken sandwich. Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap.
Hot sauce on fries.
It's great.
Really?
Put hot sauce on anything. Andrew Brown leads off in the second inning. Brown, who has 27 at-bats in the cleanup spot for Jim Tracy, give you an idea how things are going. And R.A. Dickey gets the knuckleball in for a strike. Andrew Brown, Wheeling Rosario, and Tyler Colvin up against Dickey in the second. And that's in for a strike, 1-2. Brown was claimed on waivers from the Cardinals last winter. 18th round pick in 07 out of the University of Nebraska. RA's only got one career start against Colorado. That was last year, early in the season. As Brown looks one out to right. Easy for Baxter. And there's one away. So Dickey's retired the first 4 to face him. One out and nobody on. Now here's Wheeling Rosario, who's one of the candidates for National League Rookie of the Year honors. Leads all National League rookies with 19 home runs. Just a .301 on base percentage, but a .529 slugging percentage for Rosario, who's just 23 years old. You get a completely inexperienced team like this, and you've got a knuckleball. It almost feels unfair. Get out to center field, chasing Torres back, and he's got plenty of room. 2 out. Well, if you're a young player coming up through the minor leagues, do you ever see a knuckleball?
I never did. That's a very good point. Although I did have a knuckleballer on my team in Tulsa, which was Hal Jeffcoat.
Oh, wow.
So he was a knuckleballer, and he was a guy trying to come back as R.A. Dickey. He was in his late 20s or 30s.
Right, because he had a big league career.
Right. His father was a major league pitcher for the Cardinals.
2 out and nobody on. Now Tyler Colvin, who's gotten the bulk of the time at first base lately with Todd Helton out for the year. And Jason Giambi out as well. Colvin, the former Cub, came over in the deal for Ian Stewart last winter. More an outfielder than a first baseman. And takes a knuckleball for a strike, 1-1. I think we were always impressed with Colvin when we saw him playing with the Cubs.
Well,
never got a real shot with them.
He reminds me a little bit of Rasmus from Toronto. Guys that were supposed to be just great prospects, that things have come a little slower for him.
First round draft pick out of Clemson in 06. Broke all of Tuffel's records there. And as he's gotten to play more, Coleman has been hitting. 16 games in August, he's hitting .352. Now Dickey with a 2-2, and it's in there for a call strike 3. Second strikeout for RA, and he's retired the first 6 Rockies tonight. Mets with a 1-0 lead. Andres Torres leads off the home second inning for New York. Torres in a dreadful slump right now. He went 0 for 16 on the road trip to Cincinnati and Washington. Hitting at .228 for the year. And Alex White delivers a fastball for a strike. Going to be Torres, Tolle, and Dickey for the Mets in the second. Let's see, this is Dickey's 25th start. It's the 19th time in his 25 starts the Mets have scored the first run. That's a pretty good way to have a winning record, right? When your team is always in front for you.
They've scored a lot of runs for RA this year in bunches. But for a while there, he was giving up nothing, so it didn't really matter.
Well, that's another way to have your team score the first run. If you don't give up any, eventually you have to score the first run. Kind of like that Pittsburgh-St. Louis game yesterday. Eventually, it was going to end.
Yeah, someone's going to win it. 19 innings.
It was eerily reminiscent of the game the Mets played there a couple of years ago, in that both teams scored in the 17th, right? And it wound up going 19, a little over 6 hours. Wandy Rodriguez, who was supposed to start tonight, wound up pitching the last 2 innings and getting the win for the Pirates. Full count to Torres. And inevitably, in one of those long games, somebody has the big offer.
Yeah.
Matt Holliday yesterday, 0 for 7. And Torres, who's been striking out at a prodigious rate, is out on strikes again. 1 out and nobody on in the home second. Here's your AT&T trivia question. The 5 pitchers who've won 20 games in a season for the Mets. Whereas R.A. Dickey is trying to get to that plateau. What do you figure? 40 games to go. He has 8 starts.
Yeah.
Maybe 9.
good shape.
And he needs 5 wins. Here's Tolley, who takes ball 1. And we were watching Josh take batting practice before the game today. Little soft tosses from Dave Hudgens with a screen set up on the left side to force him to pull the ball.
Well, they're feeling as though that he's just not hitting enough balls on the nose.
Well, they've just been pounding him in and knocking the bat out of his hands. It's just that simple, and you got to get the head out.
Well, Josh has 258 at bats this year. He has 13 extra base hits, 12 doubles, and 1 home run. And as Hudgens put it the other day, his feeling is that if he's going to be a frontline big league catcher, he's going to have to produce more extra base hits.
I can tell you a similar story, and I've said it before. Harry Walker got a hold of me when I struggled my rookie year, had me come out early when I was 20 years old, hit the ball to left field, left field, left field, left field. And I got into the bad habit. I carried it with me my whole career. When I got sent down, Ken Boyer came out to me the first day and said, "You're coming out early every day. I'm going to throw BP to you, and you're going to pull everything, even on the outside corner." And he got me to hit the ball out in front again, and was on my way.
Well, you can see he's trying to pull the ball as he flicks that one foul, but it's so unnatural for him. We've seen him since he came to the big leagues. He's a guy who is so left field oriented.
You know, the thing is, again, I'm just confounded. I don't know how to hit, but I'm thinking as a pitcher, 2-0 fastball right down the middle. The pitch he swings at, 3-1, is letter high inside. I don't get it.
Well, he's choked up 2 inches, too.
Foul tip held by Rosario, and Tolley's out on strikes. So back-to-back strikeouts for Alex White.
You know what I'm saying, Keith, is that if you get yourself in a position to get a pitch, then you got to be ready to pull the trigger because you might not get another one. This 3-2 pitch is right in the corner sinking.
Well, the thing about with you working on Josh to pull, you got to make sure now that it's foreign to him. And really, Josh is a spray hitter, gap to gap, predominantly over the shortstop's head. You don't want him lunging, and that's what happened a little bit there in that pitch on the outside corner. He's so conscious to try to pull that you got to make sure you don't commit too early and get your body weight forward.
Dickey with 9 hits this year.
It's either that, Gary, or another thing. Get on top of the plate, get 1 inch off the plate like Frank Robinson, and look in.
Rusty.
And Orange, Big Orange, was here tonight.
Well, you got to be close to the plate if you're a pitcher because you got to count for the bailing out.
This is true.
2-2 to RA.
I mean, where you start's not always where you finish as a pitcher.
Doesn't have to be that way, does it?
No.
2-2 from Alex White, and Dickey fouls it off. That's got a run in the first inning, a 2-out double by David Wright. Daniel Murphy drove him home. Ruben Tejada would be next. Dickey fights off another one. Well, we sat through a 2.5-hour rain delay in Washington yesterday. The Nats have a big series tonight with the Braves starting off. The Braves 5 games behind the Nats, and guess what? They're sitting through a rain delay again tonight.
I was on my way to a card show in White Plains at a 2-hour drive from the Hamptons, and I listened to the Ed Coleman show most of the way as he was taking calls from fans during the 2-hour. Yep. That was an experience. Ed had his hands full. He was like Ralph Cramden.
You saying the natives were a tad restless?
They were. And Ed, I've never seen Ed stutter so much.
Oh, he had some difficult questions, right?
8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Dickey. And again, he keeps himself alive. There are the standings going into that game tonight in D.C. Tim Hudson will pitch the opener of that series for the Braves. Jordan Zimmerman goes for the Nats. Nats at this point trying to hold off the Phillies and Marlins and stay where they are. And Dickey giving quite a good accounting of himself, and going up against a pitcher that has a pretty low pitch count to work to tonight. he's getting them closer. 51 pitches in the first 2 innings.
Atlanta, that's Hudson against who's starting for Washington in that game tonight?
Zimmerman.
Aha. He's the leading league leader in ERA.
10th pitch of the at bat to Dickey, and he strokes one in the air to shallow right, which is right where Charlie Blackmon is, and that retires the side. White gets him 1-2-3, although it took some effort to do it. 1-0 Mets after 2. Maybe not. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. The 5 Met pitchers to win 20 games. The last to do it was Frank Viola.
That's the one I missed.
I'm missing one.
Of course, you got Seaver and Doc.
Kuzman. Oh, Coney, of course. Played with Coney when he won 20-3.
Yes, sir. So, I was a Cardinal when Kuz won his 20th against the Cardinals, right, Gary? It was against the Cards, I remember.
76, right?
Yep.
And then the next year, Kuzman lost 20.
Wow. Kuzman threw like, I think, a 3-hitter or a 2-hitter, 2-hit shutout against us.
DJ LeMahieu, the former Cub, takes high, 1-1. Of course, Seaver did it 4 times. The other guys all did it once. When Doc won 24 games in 1985, did anybody think it would be the only time he'd win 20 games?
Nope.
You know, when I think of Dwight and Strawberry, and I know that both of these players have gone through their huge troubles.
LeMahieu drives one foul.
But let's just take their numbers. I thought that Strawberry was going to have Bonds' career, and I thought Gooden was going to have Clemens' career. Just the numbers now, not thinking about, of course, their nonsense.
Oh, I thought that Darryl was the second coming of Willie McCovey.
Yeah,
I really did. And, you know, he almost was. If he'd have stayed the straight and narrow, he would have hit 500 home runs. And tremendous power. Some of those shots he hit were just off the charts.
Stanton-like.
No one went to get a hot dog when Darryl was back.
That's right. That's right. And you had to have a ticket when Dwight pitched here. Or not here, at Shea.
It was an event. Mayhew takes high. I mean, for regular season games on a regular basis, Shea Stadium was never more electric than on the nights that Doc pitched. Strike 3 call. Dickey gets LeMahieu looking at the knuckleball. 3rd strikeout for RA.
The hard one in. He's had 2 called looking, 2 in a row now, actually, and they've both been inside corner. Hard one inside corner.
You know what's interesting? He throws it with such velocity, as you see the grip and the release, that it seems like it looks like to the hitter that it's starting to break inside, but he throws it so hard it doesn't break enough. You know what I mean? They think it's going to break out of the zone, but he throws it too hard.
First pitch fastball to Jonathan Herrera, who's a switch hitter but opts to bat right against Dickey, which is surprising only in that he's hitting 143 as a right-hand batter and 279 as a left-hand batter. And Herrera takes that one for a strike, and it's 1-2.
And Herrera, who's just really kind of a journeyman player, has really been a thorn in the Mets' side. He's had some big series against the Mets.
What's he been doing the rest of the year?
Not much.
He's the third option at shortstop for the Rockies. Tulowitzki is out. Josh Rutledge came up, and he's been doing a terrific job, but he's got a little bit of a quad issue, so he's sitting tonight. And Herrera swings and misses, and that's 3 straight strikeouts now for Dickey. 4 strikeouts for the 9. He's retired the first 8.
Well, this is his best one tonight. Bottom just drops out of this baseball. Look at that. Still, though, they always talk about keeping that wrist stiff, but he still does pronate the arm because you have to.
How else do you get the ball forward? Alex White takes a strike. Fastball from Dickey. Second time in this inning he's gone to a first pitch fastball. White 2 for 20 as a hitter. And he lines one over the second baseman into right field, and it's the pitcher White who has the first hit of the night for the Rockies.
How about that? Knuckleball that didn't knuckle. He went right with it. Nicely done.
Shades of Cole Hamel. Dickey, when he pitched his one hitter, it was Cole Hamels that got the hit. Yeah, a little bit of a pronation with the after the release.
By the way, our kidcaster's on the scene.
I see him. Got some fancy specs.
Going to be with us in the bottom of the inning. I'm looking. Oh, the Mets are the top of the batting order coming up, so he's going to have a shot.
I don't think Ruben's going deep, so.
No, you know who he's going to want to do play-by-play for.
DW.
I mean, it worked for Karahan 2 years ago. Maybe he's a Baxter guy.
Local.
Charlie Blackmon grounds one for Murphy to handle. And so R.A. Dickey gives up his first hit, but works through the third unscathed. Our kidcaster joins us for the bottom of the third. Mets up 1-0.
Montana's giving the signs to Kennedy. Here's the pitch. It's a high fly ball to center field. Back goes the bird rolling. It's a home run. 2-run home run by David Wright.
That was the call by Karahan Galante 2 years ago, calling David Wright's home run on the occasion of the Kidcaster contest winner, and our new kidcaster is with us in the booth. It's J.J. Post from Mountainside, New Jersey. J.J., it's a pleasure to have you in the booth with us.
Thanks.
Now, do you know the history of this kidcaster contest the last couple of years?
Oh, I know it's been 4 years, and I've been looking at Jacob last year. It's apparently on YouTube. I mean, you get lucky when you past 2 years you get a home run. I'm hoping I'll get lucky too.
Now we gave Carrie Ann 2 years ago the choice of whose at bat she wanted to call, and she chose David Wright, and he hit a home run.
Yeah.
Last year we gave Jacob the chance, and he chose Jose Reyes, and Jose hit a home run.
Yeah.
So in this inning you've got Tejada, Baxter, and Wright. Who are you going to choose?
I'm taking Wright. I think he's the best power hitter of them.
I think that's probably a good
And he's
call.
also one of my favorite players, so yeah.
There you go.
Gotta go with Wright.
Ruben Tejada will lead off the inning against Alex White. He hits one past the mound, and Herrera slides over to get it. And a nice pick at first by Colvin. 1 pitch and 1 out. So tell me what you had to do to win this contest, JJ.
Yeah, I had to write an essay about like what things in baseball help you in the future. So I said 3 of the things I know when I said confidence, teamwork, and perseverance, because those things will help you in life.
Very good. It's a good call.
Yeah.
Now, where do you go to school?
Deerfield School, Mountainside, New Jersey.
And what grade are you going into?
5th.
So you're going to be like a big shot in school.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Well, here's Mike Baxter, who was a local kid. Didn't have a chance to be an SNY kidcaster in his day. And takes a strike. So how long have you been following the Mets?
I've been following the Mets since my grandpa introduced me to them when I was a kid. So I've been following them ever since.
So who has been your favorite Met since you started rooting for the team?
I don't know. It's probably always been David Wright, but lately, since he hit that pinch hit home run against the Nats, I would have Jordani Valdespin. It's one of my favorites too. I like him.
Baxter drives one the other way, and he's got a base hit. So, with 1 out and 1 on, David Wright's coming up, and I will turn things over to J.J. Post. Take it away.
Okay. Well, here's David Wright at the plate. He is currently hitting .322 with 16 home runs, RBI 75, and if he hits a home run here, if he does, there will be his 200th career home run for David.
Looks like David's going to change bats, JJ.
Yes? Okay. Let's see. He's got a new bat. Let's see if it does good. Let's see if it does any good. Here comes Wright to the plate. White gets ready. The windup and the first pitch. Low, ball 1 to Wright. Wright is grew up a Mets fan, so it's probably been a good thing for him to get drafted by the Mets. I mean, so it must have been a very good feeling for him, and now he's become one of the Mets' favorites for a few years. And the 1-0. Outside, Baxter's calling a rundown. He's going to be tagged out at first base, and there's 2 outs. With a 2-0 count to David Wright.
You handled the unexpected incredibly well there.
Yes.
That was great.
Thanks.
Nicely done.
Thanks.
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Much better than Mike, by the way.
I tell you, Gary has a hard time with those.
Right. It's 2-0 count. White's approaching 60 pitches on the game, and it's only the 3rd inning. And David Wright is tied for 3rd in the NL at average at 3 coming into this game at .320, tied with Carlos Gonzalez. And the pitch. Swung on, lifted deep in the air. The center field is going. It's going to be caught at the warning track by Dexter Fowler, but close to the wall by David Wright. And coming.
Well, JJ, he gave you a pretty good ride.
Close.
He didn't quite get it, but he gave you a good shot at it.
3 feet away.
Terrific job. Thanks very much.
Way to go, JJ.
You held up your end, JJ. Great call. That's J.J. Post, our kidcaster. All right, Dickey heads back to the mound with a 1-0 lead. Fourth inning, Jordan Pacheco leads off against R.A. Dickey. Pacheco flied out to right his first time up. Mets with a 1-0 lead. Dickey's allowed just one base runner. That was a 2-out hit to the pitcher Alex White in the third. And Pacheco chasing the knuckleball, 0-2. There's Rusty Staub. It is Air Force week, and there are Air Force personnel throughout the ballpark tonight.
Rusty, it's the greatest.
See, he's got his trusty pens with him.
He's up there, you know, top 5 teammates. He's on my list.
You know what's hilarious about Rusty? We call him the Big Orange. Up in Montreal, Grand Orange. He writes in orange ink.
Yeah.
He uses those felt pens in orange, of course.
And your point is?
Well, it's apropos.
Apropos, exactly. There you go. That would be the French way of saying it.
That's right.
Dexter Fowler on deck, then Andrew Brown for the Rockies in the fourth. Well, I thought that JJ did a terrific job, and I thought when David first hit that ball that we were going to have 3 years in a row of kidcaster home runs.
Not only 3 years in a row, getting the call of the 200th home run. I mean,
oh well. Well, JJ actually, strike 3 called. Another called looking.
5 strikeouts now for Dickey. 3 of the 5 have been on call third strike.
This is right down the middle. And I think just the velocity gets him.
That's a little late. That would get you chapped if you're a hitter.
Well,
it's hard. He's got to wait because of the knuckleball, and you never know where it's going.
Now Dexter Fowler has struck out his first time up. And he loops one into shallow left, and Tejada with the dive can't quite make the catch. Fowler with good speed takes the turn and holds on as Hairston gets to it quickly. A bloop single for Dexter Fowler, and a terrific effort by Tejada.
Just out of his reach. And a terrific effort, just not off the tip of his glove. And after he doesn't make this play, he wisely stays on the ground. Here he is, full out there. Doesn't get in the way of Hairston's throw to second.
So 1 out and 1 on. And now Andrew Brown, the cleanup hitter, flied out to right his first time up. Fowler has 11 steals this year.
Cat and mouse game there by R.A. Dickey. He's got the great move. It's around the league. So what does he do? He just tosses it over. Tries to get the runner to feel safe. And he's going to drop that quick move in this at bat at 1 point. Fowler better be ready.
In his last start, R.A. gave up a steal of second to Todd Frazier. It was the first time an opposing base runner had stolen second against him this year.
Well, there it is. He's got a quick snap move. And he's quick home, Ronnie.
Yep.
Very tough to steal on. The only way you can do it is if Tolley throws a good one and Tolley has trouble with it.
Brown at the plate has had good minor league power numbers, over 20 home runs the last 3 years. And Fowler has to dive back in. Well, they had the soccer game between Ecuador and Chile here last week, and so the lines from the top of the penalty area are still visible.
Like someone came out here with a protractor, a large one.
1-1 to Andrew Brown with Wheelan Rosario waiting on deck. I heard that they had a very nice crowd for that soccer game, but that it poured the entire game. Swing and a miss. Good knuckleball by Dickey. There's such a large Ecuadorian community in New York, and they apparently were all here last Wednesday.
Well, that one just stays on the same plane, but just kind of moved away. Atlanta on the board early.
I was reading, Gary, there's 100,000 Ecuadorians in just Queens alone.
It's amazing, isn't it? What a melting pot this is.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can say that about almost any nationality in this town, but that's one of the fastest growing groups. Jason Hayward with an RBI single to put the Braves in front against Jordan Zimmerman. And that one sails 2-2 to Brown. Fowler at first and 1 out. Dickey's already struck out 5. And another good pickoff move. Has he got the best right-handers move in the game right now?
Yeah, by far. By far.
He's a pitcher who pitched for both the Rockies and the Mets. With the Mets in the late 90s, who had a terrific right-handers move, and that was Armando Reynoso.
He had a great move. The thing that makes RA's move tough is that he varies the speeds to the plate. He also is very accurate with his throws. I mean, most of the time, Mike doesn't have to move his glove.
Fowler runs right back to Dickey. It'll be a double play. Well, with Fowler in motion, Brown hit the easy line drive back to RA, and he turns it into the 1-3 double play. That gets him through the top of the 4th. Fills his position so well, but that one was right there. SNY and City presented the latest recipient of the SNY Play Bowl Award, the Stamford American Little League Challenger Program, with a $5,000 check to help make their field more accessible for children with special needs. To see more of their story and those of past recipients, go to sny.tv/playball. Ike Davis leads off the home fourth inning. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
Well, Gary, September 9th, after the day game against the Braves, Ike Davis is having a charity event. It's called the Night with Ike Davis. And, you know, it all started a couple years ago, actually, because Jeff Francoeur had a charity event set up with Solving Kids Cancer, and Francoeur got traded. And so he, of course, was in another place. So he asked Ike to go and do the event that he had already planned. And Ike said, you know, I went to the event. And I walked in, and there were two dads that I met who both lost their children to cancer. And we sat and we talked, and the impact was just, you know, I can't even tell you what it did to me. And here I was, you know, I, of course, wanted to get into something that could give back, and that would kind of seal the deal. So since then, Ike has worked with Solving Kids Cancer. So the Night with Ike Davis, September 9th, also a concert by country singer Lee Brice. And, you know, a couple of the Mets will be there. There'll be some guest bartending, so it'll be fun, pictures and things like that. SolvingKidsCancer.org is the information. And one of the cool things that Ike has set up, you can actually text 32020, the word Ike, and you donate $10 to the charity. So it's actually a pretty awesome thing, easy to do too, guys.
Nice effort on Ike's part to help a very worthy cause. 2-2 to Davis, who walked his first time up. Kevin, you know, we missed you the last couple of days.
I missed you guys too, very much so. And speaking of Ike, he got on me because I guess after he hit the home run today, you guys talked to him on the headset, and he was asking where I was, and I felt bad. Felt bad about that.
It turns out you're irreplaceable.
Now, how do you figure that?
Nobody replaced you.
Just pot luck.
Here's the 2-2 to Davis, and it's off the plate, a full count. Daniel Murphy on deck, then Scott Hairston in the fourth. Fourth full count already for White, is getting close to his pitch limit. And he gets Ike Davis for the first out. Third strikeout for Alex White.
I don't really know how to describe this pitch. It looks like it's just maybe trying to cut the fastball or force seam it. With that ball out of the strike zone down.
To see how Ike's weight is moving forward. That has been his issue all year.
See, let me ask you a question. If your weight moves forward, your body moves forward, your head's got to move, doesn't it? And that's not good.
It's too much movement. They've spread him out wide with his feet, a little wider, so he got rid of the leg kick to try to get some of that motion to limit it, diminish it, but he's still having difficulty.
Daniel Murphy's driven in the only run of this game. Single to left field to bring home David Wright in the first inning with 2 out. And that's been enough for R.A. Dickey so far. Scott Hairston waits on deck. So here's Alex White. He's kind of settled into this game nicely after a difficult start. And based on their 75 pitch projection, this will probably be his last inning.
I mean, this last weekend, as talk about shutting down Santana, Strasburg is going to be shut down in a couple of starts. Bullpen is empty. Alex White and Colorado pitchers throwing 75 pitches. I mean, there's a lot of people, I guess, out there that are a lot smarter than I am, because I don't understand any of it. I really don't.
Well, the only thing I understand from the Rockies standpoint is that what they were doing wasn't working, so they decided to try something else. There's a strike 3-2, but that doesn't mean that something else is going to work either.
Well, how do you get a starting pitcher to ever understand what it's like to take a ball game deep?
Yep.
How to pitch out of trouble, how to pitch when you're a little tired, how to pitch when it's a little stressful. I mean, how are you developing a young pitcher?
Well, the other piece is, of course, if you never go 5 innings, you can't get a win.
No, you're developing him to be a long man. If that's what you want to do, great job.
And guys, here's the Toyota tweet of the game. What are your thoughts about how the Mets should handle Santana? Tweet us at SNYTV with the hashtag SNYMets. Terry Collins and Sandy Alderson announcing today that Johan would make his start Thursday and that they're going to evaluate him start by start. Too high, and Murphy's on with a walk.
You know, guys, it seems that the four-man rotation is going to keep for now, even though the Rockies are getting Chacin back, and he'll start tomorrow because, you know, kind of like the Mets have the six-man rotation. They plug in Dickey every 5 days. They're going to plug in Drew Pomerantz, but kind of with extra rest because he's been struggling. He's been dealing, I guess, with some sort of pectoral issue, and so they're going to stay with it and plug Pomerantz in kind of whenever they want. So this is not going to change, at least in the near future.
Well, they've got Jeff Francis, they've got Tyler Chatwood, they've got White and Pomerantz, and now Chacin coming back tomorrow after 3 months on the sidelines. And so now the bullpen is up. Guillermo Moscoso is the first man up in the Rockies bullpen.
Boy, I tell you what, if you're a member of that bullpen down there for the Rockies, you're on call. Can't you try to sneak out and maybe have a big night out on the road? And
forget about it.
You might get the call from the bullpen. Chances are you will.
Well, there are 9 of them. So at least they can spread the wealth.
Phone rings in his bedroom. He gets up and starts throwing.
Murphy with 7 steals this year in 9 tries.
Hey, Ronnie, I got a question for you. You're talking about these guys not learning how to get out of jams and pitch deep. How about the ability to not get a chance to get a win most of the time?
Well, that's another part of it. You know, I played for a team that we ended up using the relievers to start and the starters in the middle. And that was a disaster also. I just, you know, I don't know what the answer is. But you're talking about a 4-man rotation. There was a 4-man rotation 30, 40 years ago where guys used to make 40 starts and pitch 300 innings. So I don't know what the right answer is. But 4 innings and 75 pitches to me is not.
There have been a lot of efforts to try and do things somewhat differently, given the fact that starters don't go as deep as they used to. I mean, I think that all dates back to when Billy Martin was in Oakland and abused his starting pitchers.
He did, too. He did. Langford, Caddy was part of that group.
Kingman.
Screwballer, Mike Norris.
And they all had arm problems after that, but they had, what, 120-something complete games that year? He just didn't want to use his bullpen at all. So there's a happy medium somewhere. As Hairston takes inside 2-1.
You know, I keep hearing the pitchers and the players are bigger, stronger, and better athletes. I keep hearing it. I don't know if I believe it.
Well, but maybe that's part of the problem, Ronnie. Maybe the athletes are too strong for their arms, if you know what I mean.
I'm getting a little sour the last couple of days. Sorry.
No, that doesn't make sense to me.
Popped up into shallow right. The second baseman LeMahieu is out. The right fielder Blackman in to grab it, and Hairston retired, 2 out.
If you got a big horse out there, you always thought in terms of he can go 9.
Well, but let me take it back a step. We've talked a lot about hitters and position players who suffer injuries because they're over muscled. Couldn't the same be true of pitchers?
Well, absolutely. I think pitchers are definitely have their own weight-lifting regimen during the season and in the off season. You know, we really didn't do that. We did band work, and the Tom McKenna, Tai Chi, weighted ball for your shoulders. The things that we did.
Well, relievers have gotten more and more work as the decades have gone along. Of course, you used to have 10-man pitching staffs, then it went to 11. Then the standard now is 12. The Rockies are carrying 13 pitchers.
You know, I'm not doubting that every well-intentioned person making decisions is trying to do what is best for their ball club and for their athletes. No one would want to do anything or make a decision to hurt their athletes. But at some point, and I'm talking about pitchers, I don't know about everyday players, Keith, unless you are Nolan Ryan or Tom Seaver, every pitcher's got a window. And what you're saying is that you have a window of 5, 6, 7 years. If you're a really good pitcher, you have that window. So if you're not going to max them out and use them during that period, you're not going to get the full effect of their athleticism.
But I think the attitude is now these players are so valuable, we have to keep them around for a longer period of time as opposed to maxing them out.
But you're going to shut down Strasburg for a month, so that means you're going to add a month to the back end of his career? Crazy if you think that's true. There's nothing written that will tell you if I take you out and don't pitch you in September, that at the end of your career, you're going to have one more month at the end of your career where you're better than you would have been.
Some of the Air Force personnel who are in the ballpark tonight. Air Force Week in New York.
And again, I preface it by saying every decision that's made is in the interest of the athlete. I know it is. I know they're trying to max out what they're going to get from their players. You know, if they take Strasburg out, not Strasburg, let's say they take X Picture out and stop him 160 innings, and next spring training he hurts himself. What is the answer? What are they going to tell the athlete then? You're never going to pitch again. Boy, we should have left you in there when you had a chance for the Cy Young last year. Sorry about that. Hope you enjoy life.
How about if Atlanta comes back and catches him and they don't get it? They don't win the division. They have the best record in baseball. You know, it's important that you see the score there. Yeah. It's nice to have home field advantage in the playoffs.
Bryce Harper with an RBI hit to tie that game at the bottom of the first.
I found it interesting, the article I read about the youngster in Strasbourg, and Scott Boras is his agent, and gave evidently reams of documents to Mike Rizzo, the general manager, about medical, what happens to arms, and even though nothing's etched in stone, and really kind of a veiled threat of, if you ruin someone's got to be liable if the career is short. Now that's a veiled threat right there.
That's crazy. I mean, there are no guarantees in life, and there are certainly no guarantees in sports. I mean, pitching is an unnatural act. Pitchers get hurt all the time, and you know, if you took an MRI of any pitcher's arm, you're going to find damage. That's just the nature of what pitching is. Sure, if you limit pitchers enough, they won't hurt their arms, but they also won't help you win. It's like saying if you took tackling out of football, nobody ever get hurt. But it's part of the nature of the sport. And throwing a baseball overhand is part of the nature of pitching, and it's an unnatural act. So it will cause damage over time. That's just a fact.
Maybe you're getting damaged goods by the time you get them anyways when you watch the Little League World Series and every other pitch is a curveball. I mean, that's not helping either.
Murphy gets set to run with 3-2 and 2 down. Torres struck out his first time up. And he strikes out again. Boy, is he in a bad way right now. Fourth strikeout for Alex White. A walk and one left after 4, 1-0 Mets. The year has himself a 1-0 lead. He's allowed just 2 singles, no walks, 5 strikeouts over the first 4 innings. I mentioned earlier that Dickey's on a string. He struck out 9 in 6 innings in his last start in Cincinnati. He's had more strikeouts than innings pitched in each of his last 5 starts. It's the longest such streak by a Mets pitcher since Pedro Martinez in 06, and the last longer streak, in other words, if he has more strikeouts than innings pitched tonight, it'll be the longest streak since David Cohn in 1992.
You know, 4 times he's had double figures in strikeouts. And I've gotten to the point sometimes within games, I'm shocked when people put it in play. That's how good he can be.
Willen Rosario flied to center his first time up. And the knuckleball fouled off, and it's 1-1. Well, he is doing unprecedented things for a knuckleballer. 2.0 walks per 9 innings, unprecedented for a knuckleballer. 9.4 strikeouts per 9 innings, unprecedented for a knuckleballer. Driven down the left field line by Rosario, but that'll go foul.
You can see how he has
serious
19.
power, doesn't it?
You can see why he has 19 home runs.
He likes that low ball. This one just kind of lazily drops into his power zone, just a little quick. Nice swing.
By the way, you know it also would be unprecedented for a knuckleballer. Knuckleballers never won a Cy Young.
Wow. Well, he's got competition plenty. Cueto's having a terrific year.
Yeah, there's a lot of names out there, but still,
he's going to be right in the hunt.
That's why we've been talking about, Gary and Keith, about getting enough starts to win 20. It might take more than 20 to win the Cy Young.
This year
might be a 22-5 kind of year.
I mean, you might have 5 20-game winners in the National League.
This kid swings a vicious bat, I tell you that.
There are some of the candidates for Cy Young honors this year. Johnny Cueto won his 16th over the weekend, and he's put up a tremendous season for the Reds. Of course, he's got some competition on his own team from Aroldis Chapman and that strikeout ratio, which would be a record.
And I think with that group right there, I think if Cueto and Dickey keep on pitching the way they're pitching, they're going to be the 1-2 contenders.
Hit hard and a beautiful stop by David Wright. How did he do that? That ball was by him. Outstanding play by Wright.
So his glove is down, see, and facing the hitter. And that's just all reaction. Hot corner. Very nicely done, David. And he is just, I can't say enough about his defense this year. That's the in-between hop. And you start from the bottom up. You work your way from the ground up. And nice play, David.
Well, he is a better fielder now than he was in either one of those seasons. Having the best year of his career defensively. Here's Tyler Colvin waving at the knuckleball. The problem is that his buddy in Washington is playing awfully well now, too. What a series he had defensively against the Mets. Guillermo Moscoso up in the bullpen for the Rockies.
He's still throwing those rainbows over to first base, I noticed.
Yeah, but they're all on target.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, he put on the clinic.
He's fine when he throws sidearm, but those overhand throws are hard to watch. DJ LeMahieu on deck. By the way, the closest the knuckleballers ever come to winning the Cy Young, Phil Niekro finished second in 1969, but of course Tom Seaver won it that year, going 25-7. Drive of the year to deep right field by Colvin. Back goes Baxter for a look, but that's out of here. Off the facing of the Pepsi porch. Tyler Colvin with his 14th home run of the year ties the game at 1. Now Dickey was ahead 0-2, but Colvin gets a hold of one and gets the Rockies even.
The old dreaded down and in to the left-hander, Keith.
Well, when you got a knuckleball, sometimes you just don't know where it's going to go. It's not like you're throwing a conventional pitch when you're 0-2. And RA's got a good one tonight. Let's take a peek. It didn't move. Down and in, too, right into that wheelhouse. And Baxter just pulls up. That's upper tank.
Well, Dickey gave up 3 home runs in his last start in Cincinnati, including one to a left-hand batter, Jay Bruce. LeMahieu hits a slow ground ball. Barehanded by Tejada, and he got him. Beautiful play by Tejada for the second out. A couple of sparklers on the left side of the infield in this inning.
Well, again, the left side of this Met defensive infield is solid. Tejada's played great D all year long. Look at the dirt on that ball, too. He must have really hit a grub worm out right there. Nice play by Ruben. Sure-handed. Nothing fancy about his game. I love it. Always in the game, always knows what to do when the ball's hit to him.
I just love the ability of those infielders to catch it with all 5 fingers and within a fraction of a second get it into the throwing position.
Herrera pops one up on the right side. And Murphy squeezes it to end the inning. But the Rockies get even. Tanner Colvin with a home run off R.A. Dickey. We're halfway through. It's 1-1. Is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mets and Rockies now tied 1-1. Josh Thole will lead off for New York. Thole struck out his first time up.
Well, Kevin mentioned that they had Josh working on pulling the ball, which he's been getting jammed very much inside. Here's a strikeout from behind home plate on a sinker away, which is to his strength. Hips fly open, kind of flailing at it. He's late. See how widespread he is? I just think you have no hips. You know, a guy like Dave Kingman, who's tall and lanky, I think he can get away with the feet far apart from each other. But I do think there are some people that it just locks your hips. You've got to be able to have freedom to move your hips, and where your belly button faces the pitcher on contact. And when you're widespread like that, you're locking your hips up. And when you lock your hips and have no rotation, your bat's going to drag, and you're not going to be able to square up. I guarantee it. And that's what Josh has been getting just blistered inside all year long.
Josh facing the new pitcher, Guillermo Moscoso, in the 5th inning. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt in the Mo Zone. Kevin?
Got here today, and out on the field was Terry Collins, Josh Thole, and Dave Hudgens. That was it early, and Josh taking BP. Just those guys. And Terry was the guy that was pitching to him. And so I asked Terry what was the plan there. And he said, well, Josh and I had a real long conversation in D.C. yesterday. And my message was, you know, the thing that got you here is going to keep you here. You know, he has gotten away from choking up and spraying the ball all over the field. And, you know, if you look at it, he's not really choking up anymore until today. It's a little different today. But, you know, he said, I want him to go back to that. You know, if you're going to hit, I told him, if you're going to hit 259, it's one thing if you have 10 home runs. But if you're not going to hit home runs and you're not a home run hitter, then you got to do better than that. You know, Terry said, hey, you know, 290, that's what we're talking about here. So Keith, he actually wants him to get back to spraying the ball, and he wants him to choke up. And we looked at some video, and he has gotten away from that. But obviously there's more than one thing that has to get well for him to get where he wants to be.
Well, Kev, you know, this game is so mental, and we've been up here watching Josh, and they've been pounding him in. And as it gets to a point where you constantly, like right there, he got beat. He gets beat inside, and he hits the ball to the over the third base dugout. Fastball in, he can't get the barrel out. He's beat inside out, and your confidence gets shaken if you keep constantly not able to pull that ball. To me, if they're going to teach him to pull, Kev, throw him middle in and make him get that barrel out and hit the ball between, line drive to right field, not fly balls.
Drives this one to left, but on comes Brown to pick it off for the first out.
Josh has got to be a guy like Tejada. He's got to hit line drives and ground balls. This is a ball down the middle that you can either pull or play it to the other way. But with Josh, it's almost an automatic he's going that way. He's just not getting the barrel through.
I know RA's up, but the trouble I have in listening to Kevin and what he was saying, and listening and watching batting practice this afternoon, is that this happens on in teams all the time, is having two voices in your head.
It sounds like a mixed message.
And that's, I think, what can make it difficult for a hitter or pitcher.
Particularly a youngster.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear Hudgens talk about how Tolle has to drive the ball, and then you hear Terry talk about get back to choking up and spraying the ball.
Well, I think what Dave is saying Dave's not saying drive the ball home runs.
Yeah.
He's saying, Tolle
open up the field.
He should go gap to gap. He should hit around 25, 30 doubles a year.
Dickey hits it on one hop to Herrera, and he throws him out, 2 out.
Can I ask you guys a crazy question? This might be a total stretch, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Last spring, not this spring, but last spring, when Josh hit the 3 home runs, and really at least for half the year last year, he clearly changed a little bit. I mean, do you think it started right then and there? Just the idea that he can do that, and then he's been trying to find himself a little bit ever since? Does that have anything in the world to do with it, or is that just too long ago?
Well, Kev, I do recall that he said that he did a different conditioning and got himself stronger in the offseason to hit with more power early in spring. Well, we've seen enough of Josh now that can't be his game. Now, whether that messed him up, I don't think so. I really don't. I think his issue is that he's lost confidence, that they've pounded him so much inside. Remember now, Josh is a guy that's had success in the minor leagues, has always hit. Got called up, was supposedly going to be a 300 hitter. Not saying he's not. He's young. He's a young hitter. I struggled early in my career too, got sent down and became a 300 hitter. So I got beat inside. Big league pitchers are going to find out if you can hit that ball in. And if you can't, and you don't make the adjustments to hit that ball inside, well, they're going to keep pounding you day in and day out until you prove you can hit it.
These guys don't help. they're those scouts who are relaying all that information to their ball clubs. They do help. I'm only kidding, of course.
Tejada hits it out to right center, and back in the gap goes Blackman, and that retires the side. So Moscoso comes out of the bullpen and pitches a 1-2-3 inning. Right fielder Blackman had no idea how many out there were. We do. There are 3 outs, so we're going to go to the 6th, tied 1-1. things New York sports all on one site, SNY.TV, the ultimate blog network featuring a continuous flow of sports news straight from the best New York sports blogs. SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. The pitcher Guillermo Moscoso will take the turn at bat. This is another problem that the Rockies have. They only have a 4-man bench because they're carrying 13 pitchers. Moscoso hits one to shallow right. Baxter playing shallow, makes the slide, almost overslid, but manages to reach back and grab it. That's a high degree of difficulty right there, and Mike made it harder.
That's like, oops. I'm a little bit early here. Nice recovery. That'll be on ESPN. That'll probably be one of the top 10 plays. They don't know what they're talking about.
Full extension. That guy knows defense.
Show some dunk from some high school game.
A lot of anger in this booth tonight. Here's Charlie Blackmon with one out. Blackman's been up twice and grounded out both times. We showed you the score last half inning with Washington having scored 4 off Tim Hudson in the first. Ian Desmond, who went 0 for the series against the Mets, hit a 2-run homer in that first inning.
Uh-oh, look at Washington.
They got Gary now 36 at bats by relievers for Colorado this year. There's a lot of bats.
Blackmon looking for his first hit of the season, and he takes a strike. Blackmon was up with the Rockies last year. He broke his foot and missed the rest of the year. Then, the beginning of this season, he had a toe injury that kept him out for 2 months, so his progress has been short-circuited. And he slaps one toward third. Right with the quick toss, gets the speedy Blackmon for the second out. So 2 out and nobody on. Time to head for the studio. Chris Carlin standing by with this game break. Nats starting the night with a 5-game lead on the Braves in the National League East, and they're saying in Washington it's the biggest series in that town in 79 years. Since the 1933 Senators, the last Washington-based team to go to a World Series.
Big train on that team, right? Walter Johnson
lost that World Series to the Giants of Carl Hubble and Mel Ott. That's a while back. Jordan Pacheco is flying out and struck out 0 for 2, and Pacheco drives one to left, but right there is Hairston waiting, and the side retired. So Dickey sets him down 1-2-3 on 8 pitches. 1-1 in the 6th. game, trying to get R.A. Dickey a lead. Mets had a 1-0 lead. Tyler Colvin's home run tied it in the 5th. The starter for Colorado, Alex White, lifted after 4 innings and 83 pitches, having a lot of run on 3 hits. Guillermo Moscoso pitched a 1-2-3 5th. And now Mike Baxter leads off in the 6th, then takes a curveball for ball 1. Baxter had a base hit to left his last time up. He now has an 8-game hitting streak. Mike then fell asleep and got picked off first base by the catcher, Willen Rosario. Moscoso, who's had some big league time with Texas and Oakland, fires a fastball that's fouled off, and it's 1-1.
In fact, he had 34 appearances for Oakland, and 21 of those were starts, so perfect long man.
He's made 3 starts this year with the Rockies. He's also spent time in the minor leagues, as they have retooled and retooled and retooled that pitching staff. Guys like Jorge De La Rosa out for the year. They've seen 6 different starting pitchers go down. Chacin, who may have as big an upside as any of their starting pitchers, went down in May with nerve irritation in his chest. They're getting him back tomorrow night to make the start against the Mets. So Jim Tracy's had a lot of juggling to do. Dan O'Dowd, the general manager, part of the decision to fundamentally change the way the Rockies handle their pitchers this year. Baxter takes low and in, 2-2. David Wright on deck, and then Ike Davis. David swung the bat as well tonight as he has in a couple of weeks. Maybe JJ got him going. Each team with only 3 hits tonight. That's having trouble against a Rockies staff that has been getting tattooed with regularity. Although the Rockies have played better lately, they've won 8 of their last 13 games. And they've won some close, low-scoring games, as they did yesterday when they beat the Marlins out in Colorado. They finished off a 5-2 homestand despite the moon shots of Giancarlo Stanton. Foul tip, and Baxter's out on strikes. So Moscoso has his first strikeout.
High fastball. Right down the pipe. Under it.
So now David Wright, who drilled a double to left and scored the only Met run in the first, and then fly deep to center in the 3rd.
David's back foot is as far back as you can get. He's remained close to the plate. That was one of the big adjustments that he made in the offseason. He's getting back as far as he can.
And Wright drives one to left field. Brown going back and makes the catch, going away. Nice job by Andrew Brown retreating. Wright's hit the ball well 3 times tonight.
Oh, nice play by Brown. You can get there, you're a big leaguer, you can make the catch. You should make the catch, but that's a nice play.
So 2 out and nobody on. Moscoso's faced 5, retiring them all. Ike Davis the batter. Ike has walked and struck out tonight, 0 for 1.
Well, let's see how Moscoso attacks Ike. Now, everybody, he's been pretty much pounding fastball, occasional curves, but predominantly fastball. Let's see with Ike's vulnerability to breaking stuff. Surprise, surprise.
And Davis hits the breaking ball into right field for a base hit. Blackman gets to it quickly and holds Davis to a 2-out single.
They're not going to give Ike that fastball. And that's good hitting by Ike right there.
So the Mets have just their 4th hit of the night. Daniel Murphy has the only RBI. An opposite field single to drive in a run in the first. Then he drew a walk in the fourth, so he's been aboard twice after starting the night in a 2 for 27 skid. Murphy now with 52 runs batted in for the year. And Moscoso misses away with a fastball for ball one.
Daniel's another hitter, like most of the hitters today, upper body hitters. Daniel widespread with his feet.
One from Moscoso. And Murphy fouls back that fastball. 1-2. Davis at first with 2 down. Mets in a 1-1 tie with the Rockies in the 6th inning. And Murphy tries to hold on the breaking ball at his feet, and he stopped it in time. Lance Barksdale with the call down in third. It's 2-2.
Well, Murph's very good with 2 strikes. Good eye, did not swing. If you notice from the camera angle behind home plate, Murph's off the plate here. We're talking about David moving closer to cover the outside corner, which he had difficulty. But you know, Daniel's off the plate, but he can cover that outside corner. So every hitter's different. Daniel's strength is away.
Watches that one up and away, and it's 3-2. Scott Hairston would be next. So Murphy has worked the count full. That'll put Davis in motion. And Moscoso steps off as the first baseman Colvin moves behind Davis. How many different pitches does he have?
7, 8. Most of the time when you see a pitcher shake that many times is because he wants the fastball in. It's meaning he got the fastball away. He says no. That signals to the catcher. The catcher's telling him how to shake. It wasn't the pitcher. The catcher wanted him to do that.
Davis runs 3-2 to Murphy. Strike 3 call. Took the fastball. And Moscoso gets through the inning, his second strikeout. When we come back, Ronnie's going to talk about how teaching pitching has changed in recent years. Mets and Rockies tied 1-1 after 6. Probables for the remainder of the series. Jhoulys Chacín comes off the disabled list to pitch against Chris Young tomorrow. Matt Harvey against Jeff Francis on Wednesday. Johan Santana makes the start against Tyler Chatwood on Thursday afternoon. Dexter Fowler leads off the 7th and takes a knuckleball outside. Well, we're always intrigued by the evolution of the game, and one of the things that has evolved in several areas is the way the game is taught, different aspects of the game. And later in the homestand, Keith will be talking more about the offensive and defensive ends. But Ronnie, you've been doing a little investigation, trying to figure out the most significant ways in which teaching pitching has changed over the years.
Well, you know, I was lucky enough to just hang out with Dan Royton for about 45 minutes. And we were talking about a whole array of things. I called a couple of guys that I know very well that could ask them some questions. In fact, one of them is no longer a pitching coach as of today. And the thing that I was asking them really was, you know, things I notice that never were taught in my day. I wanted to ask them, like, why is it taught like that as Dexter Fowler walks? One of the things was the simple 9th inning. You are ahead by 1 run, and the catcher calls the fastball in to either a lefty or a righty. In a game, you're winning by 1 run. And I wanted to ask him, why is that? Because if you ever did that in a game in my day, it would be reprehensible. I mean, people would shout at you. How could you do that? It's against the game. And they told me, they said, hey, listen, the hitters today cover the middle plate away much better than they cover the ball in. And whenever it's 2-0 or a chance for them to drive the ball out of the ballpark, you really have a big opening in. If you were 2-0 on Mike Schmidt in my day and you tried to come in on him, you would rub up a new one. So that's one of the things that they teach their pitchers that would never, ever happen in my day, but now happens routinely.
Now, do you think that's something that's evolved over the course of time, or do you think that was a seismic shift?
It's happened over time, because what has happened is that the hitting has changed over time. Keith talks about it all the time. It's spread out, no stride, the ability to cover outside, a Pujols type of swing, which everyone tries to emulate. I also asked them about mound position. That seems to be the most important thing in baseball. Where do you stand on the mound? You have a guy like R.A. Dickey who stands close to the first base side. You have a pitcher like Johan Santana. When he's throwing from the windup, his right foot will almost be on a downhill slide because he's so far to the side of the rubber. And they said that they work and they've got statistics and numbers and graphics and vectors and everything that you need that tells you that if you're on a certain part of the rubber, you're a certain kind of pitcher, you give yourself a better chance.
Fowler took off very early and steals the base easily. Dickey could have stepped off but did not, and Fowler steals the base standing up.
Well, it caught Dickey by surprise. He's so quick home and so intent on being quick home. The timing was just perfect for Fowler, if not a little quick, obviously. But I think Dickey mentally was already committed forward.
That puts the tie-breaking run in scoring position with nobody out, and Andrew Brown takes inside 2-2.
Well, that's a great call, Keith. I think that he premeditatively thought to himself, I'm going to hold the ball a long time and go home, and never paid attention to the runner. That can happen sometimes. Now, that thing has changed. It used to be, as a pitcher, you were in charge of feeling for the game, feeling for the base runner.
Chopper to the left side, trying to advance his Fowler. Tejada has to let him go and throws out Brown for the first out. So aggressive base running by Fowler to get the lead run to third with 1 out.
Well, you know, we always talk about as Willen Rosario comes up to the plate, there's good base running by Fowler there. And the rule is the ball hit to the left of the shortstop, up the middle, you automatically go to third. To the right, towards the third base side, you hold, but not on a slow roller if you've got speed. And for Fowler to make that play, he read the slow roller off the bat immediately, and that enabled him to get to third base. Good heads up.
So now the infield comes in a 1-1 game in the 7th. Rosario the batter. And he takes up and away for ball 1. Rosario had a terrific turn at bat in the 5th. Hit a long foul ball and then hit a bullet to third that David Wright made a terrific play on one hop. Tyler Colvin, who homered his last time up, is on deck. So a big batter here for Dickey, and he gets a strike.
This is always the most difficult, I think, for R.A. Dickey as opposed to a traditional pitcher, is that he has got to throw the wildest knuckler he can, and it makes it just so difficult on Josh. So puts Josh in harm's way.
Especially with the speedy runner at third, as Rosario takes a wild cut at that knuckleball, and it's 1-2.
Well, two really wicked knuckleballs from R.A.
Well, Dickey has struck out 5 tonight. They all came in the first 4 innings, and he's in a spot where he really needs a strikeout. Ahead on Rosario 1-2, and told he wants to talk it over.
Boy.
Well, what is the conversation about here?
I don't get it. That's either got to be directed by the bench to go to talk to him about something defensive, or I mean, that's just, he is on a roll. He just threw 2 great ones.
Agreed.
His heart's beating. He can't wait to punch out Rosario, and he almost was given a heart attack.
And almost balked.
And his pitching coach too just took a deep breath.
So now they'll reset. Fowler at third with 1 out. 1-2 to Rosario. And a pop foul. Just got a piece of that. High knuckleball.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rosario's very strong upper body. Look at that. He's barrel chested. Big broad back, shoulders. They got some big pipes too. Look at those guns. Jeez, big Garvey forearms.
Again, the 1-2. And he threw him a fastball, and he gets the pop up. Murphy waiting for it to come down, and now they're 2 out. So Dickey surprising Rosario with a fastball, and he got the second out.
What a brave pitch. But you know where he threw it? He threw it up out of the strike zone, looking for that pop up or the swing through.
And he did not fool Rosario. He was on fastball. It just was, the effectiveness of that pitch was, like you said, Ron, it was out of the strike zone up.
So now 2 out. Fowler still at third. The infield can drop back. Tyler Colvin, who dropped one off the Pepsi porch for his 14th home run of the year, his last time up, for the only Rockies run tonight.
Well, a knuckler that didn't knuckle, and that's one mistake. The second mistake is it was down and in into a left-hander's wheelhouse.
Here's a little piece we were talking about in the day. Almost every pitcher would pitch from the windup here. 2 outs, runner on third. You always felt like you were percentage points better from the windup than you were from the stretch, but R.A. opting for the stretch.
Is he pitching around him here?
He doesn't want to give him anything good. He knows what Colvin can do, but still, knuckleball, when it's right, can't be hit.
And that one couldn't be hit. 2-1.
Barely caught. Nice job, Josh.
I mean, he had to move that glove straight down at the last moment. Well, so far, the butterfly has stayed in the net. 2-1. And he fouls off that hard knuckleball, and it's 2-2.
That one came back in, Keith, but it was up. It was a belt level.
Yep, you're right. And you can see the swing of Colvin. He is definitely like he's going to go out there and hit around 107 irons with that swing.
So would you throw him a high fastball?
You could. But he won't.
2-2.
Oh,
and he did throw the fastball, and he missed inside. Dickey thought he might have it. He had 1 foot in the dugout.
That was beautiful. Nice pitching. Nice try. He made sure if he missed, it was inches off the inside corner.
And you see Josh bring it back, so that was inside. Nice try.
R.A. was tiptoeing. Comes back for a 3-2 pitch. And he walked him. So he went after Colvin with the fastball and then threw the knuckleball low and away where he couldn't drive it. 2 walks in the inning. That'll draw a visit from Dan Warthen before he pitches to DJ LeMahieu.
Well, if you're going out to talk to RA, you know, it's really just to give him a break. He's gone through a stressful part of the game. It's a 1-1 tie. Runner on third. Just make sure, don't let Colvin steal the space on you.
The next T-shirt Tuesday game is tomorrow night when the Mets host the Rockies at 7:10. You can score both a ticket in the left field landing and a limited edition R.A. Dickey T-shirt for just $19. Act now. A limited number of tickets are available. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX. DJ LeMahieu was 0 for 2 last time up. Ruben Tejada made a terrific bare hand pickup and threw him out. And LeMahieu takes a floater for a strike. First inning in which Dickey has had to really work hard. With a couple of walks, he's thrown over 20 pitches in the inning. First and third and 2 out. Runner goes from first and it's fouled off. Colvin was on his way.
Colvin was on his way and no one was covering, so the Mets are holding their position, giving Colvin the second base.
Now Dickey with a 2-strike advantage on DJ LeMahieu and takes a look.
Well, that was close there. You know, R.A. didn't really make a big move to third base, but he made a move enough.
R.A. to DJ, and he fouls it off. Jonathan Herrera would be next. The Rockies have had just 3 hits. The Mets have had only 4.
Colvin should be running here, and in fact, you could even put on a play. If the Mets don't cover, there'll be no play had. But 0-2.
Got a very fast man at third and Fowler. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Tolley slaps the tag on him, and that'll do it for the Rockies in the top of the 7th. 6 strikeouts for R.A. Dickey as he pitches out of trouble in the 7th. 7th inning stretch. We're tied at 1. Guests to have dinner with us and catch the game in the SNY Suite at Citi Field on September 12th. All proceeds will benefit the high school basketball teams playing in the 2013 SNY Invitational. Bid today at sny.tv/charity auction. There's your Kia around the majors. Ian Desmond, a 2-run homer. Nats lead the Braves 4-2 in the 4th in the first game of that big series. Adam Jones with an RBI single, and the Orioles have gone in front of Texas 1-0. That game's now in the 4th. And the Phillies scored 4 runs in the 5th inning. Ryan Howard and Eric Kratz with home runs as they lead the Reds 8-5. That game is now in the 6th. Guillermo Moscoso has come out of the bullpen for the Rockies and given them 2 scoreless innings, so he'll stay on for a 3rd as the Mets come up in the bottom of the 7th.
Moscoso has been pretty impressive. He's doesn't overthrow, tries to hit spots, pretty good break and pitch.
It'll be Scott Hairston, Andres Torres, and Josh Tolley to bat for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. Mets going to run in the first inning, a David Wright 2-out double, and Daniel Murphy drove him home, but nothing since. They haven't had a runner past first base since that first inning. As Alex White went the first 4, and now Moscoso has worked 2 scoreless innings in relief.
And the runs have been hard to come by for the Mets. They had the 8-run outburst in that getaway day in Cincinnati. But the offense has just been having a hard time. They've been scuffling.
Hairston's been one of the few hot hitters in the lineup. He's flied out twice in the game today. And he's 0 for 4 in his career against Moscoso.
I think the most difficult thing when you look at the Mets offense is that, they don't steal any bases. They don't really push the envelope on the bases, and they don't hit a lot of home runs. So what does that mean? You got to put 3 and 4 and 5 hits together an inning to have a big inning. That's hard to do.
Which they were doing consistently earlier in the year, but that's hard to sustain. Hairston lays off the slider, and he stopped it in time 1-2.
And when you say they don't force the issue, they don't hit and run. So they got to bunch their hits.
Well, they were also drawing a lot more walks earlier in the season, but teams have gotten wise to that, and it seems as though opposing pitchers are attacking the strike zone with a lot more regularity, knowing that the Mets are going to take a lot of pitches.
All you have to do is throw strike 1 to take that off the board. Makes the hitter swing.
Third baseman Pacheco guarding the line against Hairston. And he chases the high fastball, and he's out on strikes. 3rd strikeout in relief for Moscoso.
This young man really has an idea how to get people out. First pitch fastball down the middle. He throws breaking balls away when he gets ahead. If he wants to go for a strikeout, he elevates the fastball. To a guy like Hairston, which high fastball is his strength.
Now Andres Torres, who's 0 for his last 18. He struck out twice today. Struck out twice yesterday. Struck out 3 times on Saturday. He has struck out in 7 of his last 8 at bats. So he's thinking about bunting his way on. Not a bad idea, and he takes a strike. Josh Tolley, the on-deck batter. Nets batting with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th in a 1-1 game. Torres takes just outside, 1-1. Andres has faced Moscoso before, 0 for 2 against him. Moscoso, 28 years old, from Venezuela, started out in the Tigers organization, made his big league debut with Texas. Picked up as a free agent by the Rockies in the offseason. And he gets ahead on Torres, 1-2. Josh Edgen, first man up in the Mets bullpen, with Dickey at 99 pitches on the night. And it's punched foul. Dickey is due up in this inning if anybody gets on base. Boy, this is a night when it would be an awful shame for Dickey not to get a victory.
It's already a shame that he's tied, right?
Certainly has pitched well enough to win, and the Mets facing a less than stellar pitching staff, but have been unable to get much going. 1-2. And Torres takes the breaking ball that just misses, 2-2. Rex Brothers, the hard throwing lefty, is up in the bullpen. 2-2 to Andres Torres. Tampa Bay's rolling again tonight. 5-1 in the 7th over Kansas City behind Jeremy Hellickson, going for their 5th straight win. Two at the feet of Torres at a full count. Tolley next, lefty up in the bullpen, so this could be Moscoso's last batter. Terry Collins waiting for a big hit. 3-2. And he drew a walk. So Torres able to work out the walk, get aboard with 1 out. Tolley coming up. We'll check in with the studio with Gary Apple.
Gary, thanks so much. Coming up tonight, going to hear from Tom Coughlin. None too happy with his team's off-the-field hijinks. And Roger Clemens going to pitch again. See you tonight, guys.
Independent ball is where Roger appears to be headed.
Perfect place. Why?
Because I don't know. That's a good question. Meeting at the mound, buying some time for the bullpen. Are you ready? Is he ready?
Last blow. Is he going to throw a dip in like David Johnson?
I don't think Trace is a dip kind of guy.
It's like the truth or consequences.
So now finally Jim Tracy will come out and he'll make the pitching change and bring in Rex Brothers to pitch to Josh Tolley. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Win Mets memorabilia from Verizon at Mets.com/Verizon Sweeps. 1-1 in the 7th. We'll be right back. For the Rockies, Deli Shopik is going to bat for Josh Tolley and goes over the scouting report on Brothers with Dave Hudgens.
All I want to know is, if we got a sinker, what kind of breaking ball, does it come with changeup? And go up there and see the ball and hit it.
Chris Nelson comes in to play second base in a double switch. He'll bat ninth. And the pitcher Brothers will bat seventh.
Like his pitching coach from Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, the hard-throwing lefty. Look at those numbers, 62 punch-outs and 45-plus innings.
The other Tennessean will take a seat. Shopping will bat for Tolley. Justin Turner on deck to bat for Dickey. So Dickey's chance to win this game is right here in the bottom of the seventh. Torres, the lead run at first, a guy who can steal a base, 10 for 14 this year. And Shopping, a guy who can hit the ball out of the ballpark, standing at the plate. Kelly had a good day at the plate yesterday, 2 for 3 and a walk, drove in a run. Josh Edgen ready to pitch in the 8th inning.
The Mets have their base stealer on first base.
And Shopping takes low and away from Brothers. 1 ball, no strikes. Brothers, a strikeout pitcher, 12.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. Big cut by Shopping, 1-1. I know you had a whole bunch of brothers. If you're Rex Brothers, that makes you the king of the brothers.
That's right. Rex.
I don't think any of your brothers threw that hard.
I was the king of my brother's character.
Well, you were the oldest.
Hope they're not listening.
Primogeniture.
That's right.
Here's the 1-1 coming, and Shopping takes on the inside corner a strike, and it's 1-2.
This guy throws good.
Well, Moscoso went 2 1/3 in relief, allowed a hit, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Braves have tied it up on a Jason Hayward home run, his 21st. He's having a big night. Now Shopping finds himself in a 1-2 hole. And he's down on strikes. That's strict gas from Rex Brothers for the second out.
No messing around. Just beat him.
So one more shot for R.A. Dickey to be a winning pitcher tonight. It's in the hands of Justin Turner, who will pinch hit for Dickey. R.A. out of the game after 7 innings, allowed just a run on 3 hits. He walked 2, he struck out 6, gave up the home run to Tyler Colvin in the 5th inning that tied the game, and right now that's enough to keep him from getting his 16th win unless the Mets can force a 2-out rally here. And of course that's what's capricious about trying to win a certain number of games. A lot of it's just not in your hands.
.99 pitches. You think it ever crossed the mind of Terry Collins to hit R.A. Dickey here? 2 outs. Turner, who's really a kind of a singles hitter, up.
Give your pitcher a chance to win a ball game. I wouldn't argue with that. Throwing a good game.
Well, if Turner hits a double, he'll be happy.
Like to see Torres steal a base first. Give him a chance to score him with a single.
But don't make sure you don't get thrown out, Garrett.
It might be worth the gamble, though. Turner takes up and away from Brothers for ball 1. Justin started the game yesterday in Washington, had a couple of hits. He's held his own this year despite a dearth of playing time, hitting a .275 for the year. And Justin swings at the slider and misses. 1-1.
He's got a good breaking ball too. A little down slider.
Well, that's interesting. You know, he's tall but not overly tall as Brothers, but you always talk about having that angle, that tilt on the baseball when you release it, and he's got it. Top to bottom. Great angle.
Just 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. And Turner had the cut at the fastball and fouled it off. It's 1-2. And Torres is showing absolutely no inclination of running.
I get it. And I know Keithy said don't get thrown out, but you know it's hard for the Mets to put 3-4 hits together. You know, get a base. Worst that happens, you get thrown out. Maybe RA come. Oh, Ra's already hit for him. I think. Give your guy a chance to single to take the lead.
Fly ball center field, easy for Dexter Fowler. And that retires the side. So Brothers comes in, gets 2 big outs. Dickey will not get a win tonight. He's saddled with a no decision. 1-1 as we go to the 8th. At the plate, and Josh Engine is on to pitch in a 1-1 game in the 8th.
Well, Josh had given up runs in 3 consecutive appearances, but straightened that out. And it's the last appearance yesterday in Washington with 2/3 of an inning with no runs.
Continues to struggle against the right-hand hitters, though. He got the 2 lefties out yesterday, but gave up a long double to Ryan Zimmerman. And you saw the disparity between his numbers against lefties and righties. He'll face a switch hitter, Jonathan Herrera, who's a much better left-hand hitter than right, leading off in the 8th inning. And then you've got Chris Nelson, another right-hand hitter, on deck. Well, R.A. Dickey went 7 innings, allowed a run on 3 hits, walked 2 and struck out 6. He pitched another wonderful game tonight. This was Dickey's 25th start, and for the 13th time in 25 starts, he allowed 1 run or fewer. Now, the first 12 times he allowed 1 run or less, he won. Tonight, a no decision. Push bunt by Herrera. This is going to be a tough play. Engine with a glove flip, and he throws it away, and Herrera will head for second and make it easily. A beautiful push bunt by Herrera, exacerbated by Engine's errant glove flip.
Well, that's the best way if you're a right-hander. The left-hander falls towards third, bunted towards the first baseman. He had the pitcher handle it, and you can see right there with the shovel, not even close to Ike Davis.
It's a base hit for Herrera, and then an error on Engine, advancing him to second with the go-ahead run. And now Chris Nelson will go up there and, in all probability, try and bunt him along.
We'll see the defense for the Mets here if they put the wheel on, try to get the lead runner. You see Tejada right behind them.
Davis coming in quickly. And Nelson bunts it left of the mound. Engine will come off the plate and go to first with it. So the sacrifice successful for Nelson, moving Herrera to third.
Well, I think they were afraid, but they had time to throw the runner out at third base.
It looked like Edgen just didn't really.
He didn't pounce over there.
He didn't pounce on
He
it.
busts over there. No runner, no runner, no runner. Boy.
So now the Mets will bring the infield in. Charlie Blackmon will be the batter. He's gone 0 for 3 tonight. 3 ground ball outs against Dickey. Looking for his first big league hit of the season. He was up with the Rockies last year, but he's 0 for 8 in the major leagues this year. He's a left-hand batter. So we'll see what he's asked to do here against Edgen. Certainly the squeeze play is in order. And remember, Blackmon, like Herrera at third, is very fast.
I think you're right, Keith. Because he didn't pounce on it, they took the play at first base.
So the Rockies trying to grab the lead here in the 8th. Second time today they've had a runner at third with less than 2 out. And it's inside off the mitt of Shopping, and here comes Herrera, and the Rockies take the lead. A pass ball charge to Kelly Shopping, and Colorado goes in front 2-1. A bunt hit, an error, a sacrifice, and a pass ball producing the go-ahead run.
Well, it's supposed to be a slider away, and he misses on the way inside, but Shopping just misses the ball. He's got to make that play.
Slider that didn't slide. Overthrown off the glove. What a disastrous inning.
So Colorado leads for the first time tonight. 1 out and nobody on. And Blackmon swings at the slider and misses. 1-1. Well, Herrera making it happen with the bunt and pushing the action. Taking second on Edgen's error. Intimidating enough with his speed that Edgen didn't try and throw him out on the bunt, and then he scores on the pass ball. Another slider from Edgen, and it's 1-2. We were talking about it earlier, Keith, how Herrera has always seemed to make plays against the Mets.
He sure does. He sure has. And here he is at the bunt single, getting things started for Colorado and then scoring the go-ahead run.
He's only playing tonight because Josh Rutledge has a quad injury, and Rutledge had been doing such a nice job filling in for Tulowitzki at shortstop. But Herrera getting his chance and now giving Colorado the lead. 2-2 to Blackmon with Jordan Pacheco waiting on deck. And Blackmon grounds one down to Davis. Will take it himself and beats the speedy Blackmon to the bag for the second out. So 2 out and nobody on. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin has this game break. All right, Chris, and Terry Collins heads out to the mound with the right-hand batting Pacheco coming up. He'll take Josh Edgen out. Mets have surrendered the lead here in the 8th inning. Pitching change.
Why take him out?
John Roush brought in with 2 out and nobody out in the 8th.
Coming in to face the right-handed hitting Pacheco. 172 batting average.
He has been red hot over the last couple of months. Jordan Pacheco 0 for 3 today, and he takes the breaking ball down for ball 1.
Well, Roush has pitched well ever since that bad outing. Is really his last bad outing was that way back against Tampa, and he has just been solid. Throwing more fastballs. He's had some knee issues, but he has really brought that ERA down.
Pacheco pops it up. Angling in his Hairston to call. And that retires the side. But the Rockies, with an unearned run, take the lead. Mets come up in the bottom of the 8th, down 2-1. Slow motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Mets have come up just a little bit shy so far tonight. They'll have the top of the batting order up in the bottom of the 8th against Rex Brothers, who got the last 2 outs in the 7th. Tejada, Baxter, and Wright coming up for New York. Mets have been limited to just 4 hits tonight. And 11 hits yesterday, but scored only 2 runs today. They have had trouble even getting runners on base. Tejada 0 for 3 today, now 0 for his last 10 after a long hot streak. And takes it wide, 2 balls, no strikes. Rex Brothers now pitcher of record on the long side after finishing the top of the 7th and getting benefit of that unearned run the Rockies scored in the top of the 8th. Throws a strike to Tejada, 2-1. Well, last night the Pirates and Cardinals played that 19-inning game in St. Louis. Wandy Rodriguez was supposed to start for the Pirates today, but he pitched the last 2 innings and got the win. So you figured he wouldn't start tonight, right? Well, you'd be right. He's not starting. Kevin Correa, who also pitched in relief yesterday, is starting tonight for the Pirates in San Diego.
Wow.
Matt Belisle gets up in the Rockies bullpen. I guess it was either that or call a pitcher up, because he used every other conceivable candidate. Popped up, and the second baseman Nelson toward the line. 1 away. The Mets have not hit well, but they've played some defense.
Well, Dickey fielding his position right there in a soft liner. David Wright with just a fabulous stab right there. And Tejada with the bare hand. I mean, that left side of that infield is solid.
And Baxter, of course, a little early slide. Made it a little more difficult, but nice recovery.
Signaled to Calliope for that one.
He knows the grass and Queens.
So here's Mike, who's 1 for 3 on the day. He's had a couple of odd reads tonight. He made the slide and catch, but he also got picked off first base in the 3rd inning. Catcher Rosario catching him napping. And our kid caster J.J. Post caught it perfectly.
Good job, huh?
I don't know where we're getting these kids from, but the quality of the kid casters has been fantastic.
It certainly has.
Obviously, our judges are doing an extraordinary job picking the best talent.
Kid had J.J. had glasses like Harry Carey.
He's really styling, I have to say.
I thought it was a young Harry Carey for a minute.
It was more like a hipster look as far as
hipster Harry.
Yeah. Well, if Harry was alive today, he'd be a hipster. See him with the skinny tie.
That's right.
Here's the 1-2. And it's even on Baxter with David Wright on deck.
Tell you what,
David has swung the bat well all night.
I don't think Brothers is going to stay in to face David, but I tell you what, he's impressive with his arm. What an arm he has.
That's why they have Belisle up in the bullpen for David. 2-2 to Baxter, and he punches one behind third, falling fast, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Baxter trying for 2, the throw coming in on a hop, and he's safe. Good hustle by Baxter as he challenged Andrew Brown, and he's got himself a bloop double.
Well, this is all on Baxter here, and he just put his head down and hustled out of that box. You can see the hustle, and that is just good base running right there. He is surprisingly fast. Took us by surprise in spring training. We didn't realize how quick he was.
So that puts the tying run at second base with 1 out. David Wright coming up, and they may intentionally walk him, and that's exactly what they're going to do. With first base open, they'll put the potential winning run on base, which is contrary to the basic manager's handbook.
Right.
But Jim Trace has got a lot of faith in Brothers' ability to get a left-hand hitter out, so he'll bank on that against Ike Davis.
It's not only that, you got Davis and Murphy back to back. And the right-handed bench left for the Mets is Cedeno and Bay.
Keep in mind that Rex Brothers is not allowed to hit to a left-hand batter since August 1st, nearly 3 weeks ago. So you can understand Tracy's confidence in him against Davis and Murphy. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by State Farm. Tonight's State Farm agent of the day is Joe Bennett Casa of Farmingdale. Contact Joe's office at joebenzthere.com. By Cadillac and by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. So it's in the hands of Ike Davis. Mets down 2-1 in the 8th, 2 aboard and 1 out. Baxter the tying run at second. Wright the potential go-ahead run at first. Davis tonight has walked, struck out, and singled 1 for 2.
And Davis hitting 179 against lefties in 134 at bats, 7 home runs.
And Ike swings and misses the fastball, 0-1.
Well, Ike was sitting on fastball there. There you see the discrepancy in numbers, the splits on Ike.
Brothers has shown an ability to throw the ball by people. And he throws it by Ike twice, 0-2.
If he throws him also a slider, Ronnie, he's out of his mind. Over the plate anyway. And there's a Cholula. Oh boy, there's 96. My goodness.
That's some serious hot sauce
on the omelet.
And Brothers puts on the iconic wooden cap and strikes out Davis for the 2nd out.
It's as impressive as I've seen from a left-handed reliever all season long.
Well, that is just an overmatch right there.
Well, now you got Murphy coming up, and for some reason, Bo McLaughlin is going out to talk to Rex Brothers. What's he talking about?
I just think, Ronnie, it's a different type of hitter. You got more of a line drive contact hitter. where Ike, he went after him. I think this guy is a tougher out right here. Murph is a guy that he and David Wright, you need a base hit to tie or win a ball game. They're the guys you want up. There's going to be a tougher mark for Brothers here.
You know, the only thing, Gary, that I could possibly think he was talking about there is that to go along with Keith, just to remind him to use all his pitches. His slider, he's not going to be able to just blow Murphy away. Maybe he will be, but to make sure he uses his breaking ball.
Murphy has driven in the only Met run tonight. That came in the first inning, an opposite field single. Since then, he's walked and been called out on strikes, 1 for 2. 2 on, 2 out. Mets down by a run in the 8th. And Brothers misses high with the fastball. Ball 1. Brothers facing his 7th batter. And the slider misses, and now he's behind Murph 2-0.
Well, defensively in the outfield, they've got Murph shaded to the opposite field, and rightly so, with a guy that's throwing 96 Cholula miles per hour.
Except Herrera, who's keeping backs to close.
That opens up that hole on the left side of the infield. You saw the numbers on Murph, giving away nothing against lefties this year, practically the same batting average against both sides. Jim Tracy went to his bullpen in the 5th, got 2 1/3 out of Moscoso without allowing a run, and now Brothers has gone an inning and a third and has held the Mets at bay.
This is that 2-0 count. Look away. Look at that big hole between short and third.
Murphy takes ball 3. So Brothers working right around the plate, and it's 3-0 with Scott Hairston looming on deck, and I'm sure Brothers wouldn't face him. They've got the right-hander Belisle ready in the bullpen. Hairston's been the lefty buster all year. Murphy likely to take one here on 3-0. And there's the strike.
Well, Murph's got that hole between short and third, and the shortstop, Herrera, should just forget the runner. Get out there and cover your position. You got 2 outs. Don't worry about the runner. He's not going anywhere. I would not give Murph that hole.
Here's the 3-1, and Murphy takes it wide, and the bases are loaded. So Brothers, after intentionally walking right, strikes out Davis, but walks Murphy, and now the bases are loaded. Scott Hairston is coming up. Now, if they bring in the right-hander Belisle, Terry Collins could counter with Jordani Valdespin. So let's see what Jim Tracy wants to do, knowing that. And he will make the change. So Belisle is coming into the game. Mets have the bases loaded in the 8th. We'll be right back. in a big spot for the Rockies.
Well, he has been in 365 games in his career, split between Cincinnati and Colorado.
Originally drafted by the Braves, now 32 years old, Jordany Valdespin will bat for Scott Hairston. Valdespin, who has had 5 pinch hit home runs this year, needs only a little single to give the Mets the lead. Hairston went 0 for 3 tonight. Bases loaded, 2 down. Mets down a run in the 8th. And the breaking ball from Belisle misses for ball 1. Trying to take advantage of Valdespin's aggressiveness, but he's been a little more patient lately. Baxter the tying run at third. Wright the go-ahead run at second. And Murphy at first. Valdespin with 7 pinch hits. 5 of the 7 have been home runs. And Valdespin takes it high. And now it's 2-0. So Belisle painting himself into a corner. Andres Torres is on deck. Belisle generally a strike thrower. He's only walked 11 in 62 innings this year. On 2-0, Valdespin takes a strike.
Interesting, Jordany taking. He's usually a guy 2-0. I would want him swinging if he likes a fastball. Swing the bat.
Should get 2 in a row here, don't you think?
I would think.
Now the 2-1 coming to Valdespin, and he punches it foul. And now it's 2-2.
Got a good pitch to hit there, just missed it.
He's already set a Met Club record for pinch hit home runs in a season. Let's settle for another one of those little parachutes like Baxter hit to get this thing started.
Slight shade to the opposite field, pretty much straight up.
Will turn to the right on the infield. 2-2. Off speed, pulled down to first. Nice play by Colvin. The flip, and he got him. Valdespin gets right up in the face of the first base umpire, Adrian Johnson. Terry Collins will come out to try to save him. Very close play at first base as Valdespin went diving in, and Belisle judged to have beaten him to the bag.
And good call, he did.
Don't get any closer than that.
Boy, wow, that was close.
Love to see how Valdespin would have gotten there had he run through the bag, but he opted to go with a head-first slide, and the Mets are turned aside in the bottom of the 8th. So, held onto the lead by that margin. Ninth inning, 2-1 Colorado. Dexter Fowler takes low and inside from John Roush. Well, the Mets coming within an eyelash of tying the game in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2-0 to Fowler. Jordani Valdespin, who was out at first base, stays in the game in left field. Very fortunate not to have been ejected, as he got right in the face of Adrian Johnson, the first base umpire. Terry Collins saved him from an ejection and maybe a fine as well.
Well, just a heck of a play by Tyler Colvin, too, who's not a first baseman by trade, an outfielder. He made a heck of a play.
Well, Lyle might have hesitated a beat before going to cover first, as Roush misses inside 3-1. Here's the play.
Lyle late getting there.
Too high, and Fowler's on with a leadoff walk. Well, let's take a closer look at that play first. You'll never get a better look at this on the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Look at this.
And it looks like he got him. He just beat him. That's as close as it can get. And Ronnie, you made the point that Lyle made that closer than it really was by being not breaking to the bag quickly.
And Gary said Valdespin runs through the bag. He's safe easily instead of sliding.
When you make that slide, as soon as you leave your feet, you slow down. And then when you hit the ground, you slow down more. Andrew Brown takes a strike.
But Lyle was out of the play. The slide put him back in the play. That's what happened.
They give you the advantage as the base runner going to first base that you do not have to break stride. You don't have to stop your momentum. When you slide like that, you stop your momentum. It's only a good play if you're trying to avoid a tag, which was not the case. 0-2 to Brown, who's 0 for 3 today. So the Rockies now looking for some insurance. Brown, who's a power hitter, not being asked to bunt in this spot, with Will and Rosario waiting on deck.
In a time when we talk about umpires not having any restraint, I have to say that Adrian Johnson did a great job of not. Could have thrown Valdespin out of that game.
I was shocked he didn't. I mean, the reaction was excessive on Valdespin's part.
But you're allowed to argue he didn't bump. I mean, as long as you don't swear. You know, some umpires, they'll listen. They'll let you rant and rave.
It's the biggest part of the game. You got to understand that too. As an umpire, there's going to be a reaction like that.
Now Roush ahead 1-2 on Brown, and looks in on Fowler, who's already stolen a base tonight. Has 12 for the year. Rockies 2 runs, 4 hits. The Mets 1 run and 5 hits. And Brown pokes one into shallow right, and right there is Baxter playing him shallow. And that's the first out. So 1 out and 1 on. Let's check in with the studio, see what's coming up on WB Mason Post Game Live. Chris Carlin and Bobby Ojeda, guys. All right, guys, here's Willen Rosario, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Robbed of a hit on a great play by David Wright back in the 5th. Came up with a runner at 3rd and 1 out in the 7th in a tie game, and Dickey threw him a high fastball and got him to pop up. Rafael Betancourt, the Rockies closer, getting ready. And the breaking ball strike from Roush. 0-1 to Rosario. Dickey went 7, allowed a run on 3 hits. Josh Edgen gave up an unearned run in the 8th, and he's on the hook in this game. And now Roush trying to get the Mets to the bottom of the 9th in just a 1-run game. Mets will have Torres, Shopik, and a pinch hitter coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Good rip by Rosario, and it's 0-2. Mets still have Ronnie Cedeno and Jason Bay left on the bench. Tampa Bay has won tonight. They beat Kansas City 5-1 behind Jeremy Hellickson. 5 straight wins now for the Rays. Rays are in the #1 spot in the American League wild card. You see that game in Washington has gone to the bottom of the 6th, still tied. Rosario chasing another high fastball, this time fouling it off.
His nickname, Keith, has been used before, Baby Bull, they call him.
Kind of like Orlando Cepeda.
Yeah.
And Rosario pokes that one foul. It turned into an interesting race for National League Rookie of the Year, the way things are shaping up. Everybody had anointed Bryce Harper early in the year, but Rosario's certainly in that equation. Todd Frazier in Cincinnati is putting on a great late season rush.
Although Harper looked like the Rookie of the Year this weekend.
Great series against the Mets. Wade Miley in Arizona, clearly the best of the rookie pitchers. 13 wins already, an ERA under 3.
The American League's a no-brainer.
Oh, that's easy. Mike Trout might be the MVP as well. Here's the 0-2, and Rosario drives one deep down the left field line, but foul. Second one, he's in that neighborhood tonight. This kid is an attacker.
He's got a quick bat. Well, Ronnie, that's a long strike, is it not?
Yeah, but it gets your attention. I'll tell you that. It gets your attention.
Might be time to bounce one.
Or throw it over his head again. Out of the strike zone.
Bounce the breaking ball.
Lines this one to left, and Valdespina is there. 2 out. Oh, there hasn't been much offense for the Mets tonight. Daniel Murphy driving in a first-inning run.
Tyler Colvin with his 14th. That tied it in the top of the 5th. And then there's the old pesky Herrera getting on base. The bad play by Edgin, base hit. And then the pass ball. So an unearned run is a difference in this ball game.
Now Tyler Colvin, whose home run put the Rockies on the board back in the 5th. And then he made the terrific defensive play that saved the Rockies in the bottom of the 8th. So Colvin has been front and center tonight. Pitcher spot is due up next. And the veteran catcher Ramon Hernandez has come out on deck to pinch hit. Pulled toward the hole, and Murphy can't get it. Base hit for Colvin. Trying to go first to third is Fowler, and Baxter's throw is not in time as Fowler went in standing. So Colvin has his second hit of the game. Tomorrow night, game 2 of this series. Chris Young goes for the Mets. Jhoulys Chacin comes off the disabled list to pitch for the Rockies. 6:30 the coverage tomorrow night right here on SNY. So now Ramon Hernandez, who was linked in trade talks with the Mets before the trading deadline, but the Mets went out after that deadline and got Kelly Shopping in a waiver deal instead. Hernandez now serving mostly as the backup to Willian Rosario after a long and very successful career as a #1 catcher. Hernandez now 36 years old. He has some tremendous years in Oakland, Baltimore, more recently in Cincinnati.
Caught the big 3 in Oakland.
Was he mentioned in Moneyball?
No, he was a little too good to be mentioned.
By the way, they had their reunion.
That's right.
Over the weekend.
That team won 20 in a row? Or?
20 in a row. And it was nice to see that despite his understandable upset at how he was portrayed in the movie, that Art Howe decided to attend that reunion.
Class act.
I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman is a great actor, but trust me, folks, The man he portrayed was not Art Howe.
Yeah. He needed an antagonist.
Line left field, base hit for Hernandez, and that'll give the Rockies an insurance run. Fowler comes in to score, and it's 3-1 Colorado.
Well, a hanger right here, and Roush, who's been so good of late, hangs it inner half and pays the price. That's a big run to drive in.
You know, he has been great, but he has not been asked many times this year to get an out, sit, and come back out and get through.
He issued the leadoff walk to Fowler. That comes back to bite him. Hernandez with the 2-out pinch hit to stretch the Rockies' lead to 3-1. And that'll be all for John Roush. Mets make a pitching change in the top of the ninth. Ramon Ramirez coming in. Ramon Ramirez asked to get the final out here at the top of the ninth.
It's four straight scoreless appearances. His last one Friday night in Washington.
Worked a 1-2-3 inning in that game. Jonathan Herrera up. He's the guy who put the Rockies in front in the 8th inning. And he takes at the knees for a strike. Herrera led off the 8th, pushed a bunt, batting right-handed to the right side. Josh Edgen tried to make the glove flip, threw it away. Herrera wound up at second, was sacrificed to third, and scored the go-ahead run on a pass ball. Rockies have had an insurance run here in the 9th. And quickly 0-2 to Herrera. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th. As will have Andres Torres, Kelly Shopik, and the pitcher's spot due up. Ronnie Cedeno and Jason Bay available as pinch hitters. Rafael Betancourt getting ready to try to save it for Colorado. Well, the Mets bullpen had a nice run in Washington. They did not allow a run in that 3-game series.
Just a couple of plays in that inning that Edgen could have changed that entire inning around. He made the first mistake, but a little quicker to that ball, he might have had a shot at third base.
On sacrifice. One and two to Herrera. Now Ramirez with the 1-2. Strike 3 call, got him looking at the changeup. And that'll do it for the Rockies in the top of the ninth. But they tack one on and take a 3-1 lead for Betancourt into the bottom of the ninth. Thoughts are on how the Mets should handle Johan Santana the rest of the year. Give you a taste of some of the answers. Lazy J says with the Mets out of it, they should shut Santana down. New York Sports World says take it start by start. Keep his pitch count down. That's basically what the Mets have decided to do. Limit his pitches and take it start by start. Rafael Betancourt on to try and save it for the Rockies as we go to the bottom of the ninth.
Well, 50 major league saves in his career to this point. Ever since he came up to the big leagues in 2007, he has appeared at least in 50 games with Cleveland and Colorado.
He's been a setup man for most of his career, getting his first real chance to be a full season closer this year. 23 of 28 in save opportunities. Now at age 37. Andres Torres has struck out twice and walked today. Andres has struck out 8 of his last 9 official at bats, and he's 0 for his last 18. Corners in against Torres. And he takes a strike.
Him up. That's a big cross up right there.
How can he cross up on the first pitch
with nobody on base? Looking for a splitter, and he got the fastball.
Nice recovery.
Such a great athletes those catchers are. Man.
Betancourt, since coming to the Rockies in the middle of the 2009 season, has struck out 231 and walked 31. So almost a 7.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. It's a pretty nice weapon for a closer. That ability to throw strikes. Torres gets it past the mound, and Nelson can't make the play, and Torres is aboard, and the Mets will get the tying run to the plate in the bottom of the ninth. So Torres snaps an 0 for 18 with this infield hit.
But he just couldn't quite get to it. Nelson. Actually, that's Herrera, excuse me. Yeah. That'll get the pitching coach upset.
Got a ground ball to the side of the reach. Nice job by Torres.
So now Kelly Shoppach, who once caught Rafael Betancourt in Cleveland, will bat against him. Tying run at the plate in the last of the ninth. Ronnie Cedeno out on deck to pinch hit.
Boy, that run is huge, isn't it?
Cedeno ready to bat for the pitcher. But first, Shopik, who came up to pinch hit for Tolley against the left-hander Brothers in the 7th and struck out. Stayed in the game behind the plate and committed the pass ball that gave the Rockies the lead. There goes Torres, and it's popped up by Shopik. What is Torres thinking? In foul ground, Pacheco has it. The Mets are down by 2 runs. Does Torres know they're down by 2 runs?
All I know is that you needed him to steal the last time he was on.
The last time is right. His run means nothing.
He was on base in the 7th inning in a tie game and never moved from first base. Here, down by 2 runs, he's trying to steal in the 9th. So now Cedeno will bat as a pinch hitter. Cedeno's been swinging the bat well lately, but most of his at-bats have been against left-handed pitching. Started yesterday at shortstop and had a double and a triple. His batting average up to .287 on the year. One out and one on. Ruben Tejada waiting on deck. And Cedeno swings and misses, 0-1. Rafael Betancourt first came up to the big leagues with the Indians in 2003. He had one of the great setup years in history in 07. A year in which he pitched to a 1.47 ERA with 9 walks all year. Fouled off by Cedeno, and it's 0-2.
Not too fancy, huh, Keith? Right after you with fastballs.
Yes, sir.
So now Cedeno has to fight out of a hole. Torres at first and 1 out. Betancourt misses high.
Fastball up to set the slider away and down.
Now the 1-2. Cedeno takes low and in.
Likes his fastball tonight.
Goes through those same machinations, pulling at the jersey, pulling at the cap after every pitch. Wiping the invisible bugs away.
It would be a great kind of compilation tape to have all the idiosyncratic things that relievers do before they deliver the pitch.
Some guys who were just beyond entertaining, watching Randy Myers go through his checklist before every pitch.
Brad Leslie, the animal.
Turk Wendell slamming down the rosin bag.
Turk comes to mind.
The Mad Hungarian.
Oh, wow, that was all shtick.
You think? Cedeno trying to hang tough. Tying run at the plate in the 9th. And Ronnie goes down swinging. 2 men down.
Tell you what, there's no fooling around here. They're going to get the fastball. Let's right down the middle.
So the Mets are down to their final out of the 9th. Betancourt trying to put the game to bed. Ruben Tejada suddenly struggling with the bat. 0 for 4 tonight and 0 for his last 11. We'll try and keep it going for New York. That's Frank Francisco throwing lightly in the bullpen, hoping that there's a bottom of the 9th to pitch, or a top of the 10th. So here's Tejada. Torres takes off, not being held on, and he takes second on defensive indifference as Tejada takes a strike. Bedcourt started him off with a breaking ball, a rare one for him tonight. And Rubin swinging at the fastball and missing. And now the Mets are down to their final strike. Torres at second and 2 out. Tejada, who's been a terrific 2-strike hitter all year, trying to keep alive. One and 2. Jim Tracy pulled his starter Alex White after 4 innings. He's got nothing but zeros from his bullpen so far. Moscoso, Brothers, Belisle, and Betancourt so far put together 4 2/3 scoreless innings. And Betancourt trying to put on the finishing touches. And Tejada lays off 2-2. If Tejada can keep it going, Mike Baxter would be next. Two to Tejada. And that's ball 3. So Rubin, as he so often has this year, gets from 0-2 to 3-2. Betancourt, who walks very few, wants a new baseball. Just 6 unintentional walks this year for Betancourt in 44 innings. It's 3-2 to Ruben Tejada. And he walked him. And the tying runs are on base. And that's quite a job by Tejada. Behind on the count 0-2, and he works out the walk, and Baxter will come up with the tying runs on.
Well, Betancourt will be kicking himself because Tejada with no power. Now you got a guy that if you make a mistake, you can lose the ball game.
Baxter's 2 for 4 today. Single to left in the 3rd, and then hit a parachute along the left field line that fell for a double in the 8th inning. Torres and Tejada the base runners, with the Mets down 3-1 in the bottom of the 9th. Catcher Rosario stepping out to give signals to the infield on what to do if the runners take off. Hard to do here because Tejada just doesn't have much speed.
See the first baseman Colvin playing right behind Tejada. I don't know why the third baseman is playing in at all. Pacheco, he's got to get back.
And Baxter takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Pretty good pitch right there, leading it off. Been throwing predominantly breaking stuff. I mean fastball, excuse me. And leads him off with a backdoor slide piece.
If Baxter can keep it going, David Wright would be next. And Baxter watches wide, a ball and a strike.
Field and Colbert, the home plate umpires, had a good game. Really has.
Two on, 2 out, 1-1 to Baxter. The Whitestone kid trying to provide some more heroics in Flushing. And there's a fastball right there for a strike, 1-2. So again, Bencourt 1 strike away.
I don't know what Mike was looking for. You got a guy just powering the ball through.
Middle.
Well, now you got to go to hitting.
Now Tejada was down 2 strikes, worked out a walk. Now it's 1-2 to Baxter. Fly ball center field, and right there is Dexter Fowler waiting. And the Rockies win it with a run in the 8th and a run in the 9th. The Rockies take the opening game of this 4-game series, and the Mets fall 8 games below 500 for the first time this year.
Well, 6 base on balls, 6 hits for the Mets offense, and only produced 1 run, and it really was a shame because R.A. Dickey was outstanding. 7 innings, only 1 run, and his only mistake really to Tyler Colvin, the home run in the 5th inning.
Well, they continue to struggle to score runs. They left 10 men on base. Both teams had 6 hits.
Game summary brought to you by New York's 529 College Savings Program, and no decision for Dickey tonight. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by New York's 529 College Savings Program. Buy your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. By Modell's. Stop by your local Modell's and enter the Amazing Mets sweepstakes for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime Mets experience. By Geico. By Hyundai. New Hyundai owners are talking about their cars in the booth. And by AT&T. Rethink possible. Rockies win it tonight over the Mets 3-1 in the opener of this 4-game series. Game 2 of the series tomorrow night. Chris Young goes for the Mets. Jhoulys Chacin will be on the mound for Colorado. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6:30. Now for Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, Kevin Burkhardt, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live with Chris and Bobby. Guys.